Hello, and we are live with the Sausage Factory End of Summer special. I'm your moderator, Pizzal. Joining me tonight, I have the Pride of Canada,
Yay.
Raiho Magnifico. With what are we drinking tonight, Raiho? Is that Moose
Yeah.
Piss?
We're drinking Deception Bay IPA tonight. It's very good.
No, when was your last Moosehead?
You know what? I haven't had a Moosehead in a long time, man. I keep saying I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to get a nice big tall can of Moosehead lager for you, but not today. Not today.
Also with me is Jay the Stingray. What's up, Stingray?
Doing well, guys. How are you? Glad we're back. Been a busy summer.
Been a bit okay, cool. Always good to stay busy. Always good to stay busy. I know Easy E, Eric, who's also with us tonight's had a busy summer. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, folks. Piz. Yeah. Had a baby. Saw some movies, but mostly sat around. It's been exciting. Been good stuff.
Okay, interesting. Cool. And Cameron, you've had a busy summer too. Everybody's had busy summers here. You're having babies and procreating, and you know what I mean. It's just all about procreation in the summertime, I guess.
It's all about the sausage factory, the next generation.
There you go. The next generation.
Babies having babies, man.
How you doing, Cameron?
I'm doing all right. It's like you said, it's been kind of a rough summer, but I'm all right. I just want to say that I have hot and cold feelings right now about Best Buy. Best Buy has this whole thing about like if you spend $50 on TV seasons, you get a $10 gift card back. So I went to get Once Upon a Time season 7, which was $49.99, and they refused to give it to me because I was a penny off.
Oh my gosh!
The tax doesn't count?
No, it doesn't. It has to be $50 exactly. And I was 1 cent off, and they said, no, we can't give it to you. And on my way out to the car, one of the assistant managers ran out to me and gave me a $5 gift card as a sort of, an apology, but they gave me the 10, but gave me the 5. So I thought that was a classy move still, though, to still do that. So I was really upset at Best Buy, but then at the end, I felt like if it wasn't for that nice assistant manager, I would have been a lot more upset. So
if it were Amazon would have done it for you.
Why piss off your loyal customers for the whatever cents that was?
1 cent.
Yeah, 1 cent. Jeez, oh, Pete.
That's
especially they should know Cameron by like name at this point with all the damn movies he's buying.
It's okay. You should see me in there with my shop kick. I don't leave until all my points are redeemed. Like those extreme coupon shows. That's what I'm like at Best Buy at the. I usually have to go to the customer service center because I take so much time. Like, okay, now there's this card, and then scan these points over here. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Got Best Buy on lock.
Well, guys, it's hard to believe that summer's over. I mean, it's almost like we just, where did it go? It's just flown right by, and it's crazy. All you guys out there watching, please let us know how your summer was. Let me give a shout out to Joe Bob Tarhill, to Josh O'Brien, to Joe Caraluzzo. Let's see who else is with us so far tonight. DJ Donnelly. Hope you guys all had a good summer. But Raiho, how was your summer, buddy?
Busy too. Just super busy. And it's been hotter than it's been unseasonably warm in Nova Scotia this year.
What is hot in Nova Scotia? I'm wondering.
In the humidity, we've been hitting around 40.
Wow.
Which is high for us. I don't know what that hits for you guys. The thing about it is I was talking to a guy actually who lives in Texas, I think, and he was like, oh, whatever. But people aren't used to it here. We don't all have air conditioning and things like that, right? We had a bad hot spell. It went through Montreal and Nova Scotia, and it was at 42, and people were dying. 11 people died in Quebec or something like that. It was
wow.
It was unseasonably warm, so it's been pretty hot. It's pretty hot today. It's actually kind of breaking a little bit. I have a fan on right now. I hope not bothering anybody with it. Try to keep cool, but yeah, it's been hot. It's been busy. I don't think I was trying to think of before we sat down. I think the last movie and the only movie I saw was Avengers. It's the only time I got out the entire summer. So
not even Ant-Man.
No, I didn't make the Ant-Man. Didn't see Solo. I didn't see anything. So
Wow.
yeah, I haven't seen New Mission Impossible. I'm completely like, if it wasn't on Netflix, I wasn't watching. So
Okay.
yeah. So it's been pretty busy, but it was good. It was good. Just hot and busy.
Hot and busy. What about you, Stingray? How was your summer?
Man, well, as far as movies go, man, I pretty much had a complete opposite experience because I was living the MoviePass dream while it was there.
MoviePass. R.I.P.
Yeah, I guess we'll get there eventually, but it's not what it used to be, and I'm no longer a member. But had a great run there. Saw pretty much everything.
MoviePass did have a good run, but MoviePass was one of those things where it was like, okay, when is this bubble going to burst? You know what I mean? Like, when's the dream going to end?
It sort of seemed like even people who could do the most rudimentary of math equations were like looking at their model and thinking, this can't be for real, right? And it's not, actually.
But it's been around for years, like 2006 or something. It's only gone mainstream in the last like year or two. But if you look at the history of the company, it's been around for almost like 15 years.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Well, they felt the need to take the credit for the number of movie-going people over the past year.
It was
them that did. So
yeah, it was what was that? It was that Gotti movie. That was the thing that cemented their fate right there.
Oh, that was a train wreck, wasn't it?
Well, they funded the movie. It didn't do well. It got 0% of Rotten Tomatoes. So then they didn't put out a trailer saying, see the movie audiences love but critics hated, and they actually got people to sign up on Rotten Tomatoes to give it 100% rating with one review. So it was completely fake. And
what movie is this?
Gotti with John Travolta.
I haven't even heard of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't hear of it. Yeah, it came and went pretty quick.
John Travolta. When's the last time he did anything relevant?
I had some kind of like
headline a movie too.
Am I wrong? Or is he's doing like a slasher movie? Like, and he's like the killer in it, and he's dressed up like he's like Michael Myers or something. It's like
what?
He kind of looks like a real life Leatherface.
I had no idea that MoviePass actually financed that movie.
Yeah. That was the big that was the big like hoopla, like how dare they attack critics and all that. So
and he looks like Ray Liotta in that movie. Got the catcher's mitt face.
Moose.
Okay, Moose is in post.
Directed by Fred Durst.
Oh wow!
Look at okay, go
Kevin Sawa, John Travolta.
Go to IMDb. Just look at the picture of John Travolta. What in the world? What is it?
Look at this picture. This is what I'm talking about. Like, look at this.
I mean, is this freaking real?
He's dressed up in a blue jumpsuit. He's got an eye poked out. I mean, they're ripping off Michael Myers. I don't know what this movie is.
Well, like the picture where the poster usually is of him in like a Hawaiian shirt with like plaid shorts on and a bowl cut.
Yeah, I have to see this movie because it's just so bizarre. But
a rabid film fan stalks his favorite action hero and destroys the star's life. Directed by Fred Durst. Co-written by Fred Durst. I'm calling it right now. This is going to be the best movie ever made. I'm calling it right now.
I'm telling you, this is it. Movie of 2018.
Yeah,
that haircut is pretty awesome though.
That haircut's probably the scariest thing about the movie. And hopefully there'll be a Limp Bizkit soundtrack. While he's like killing people, they'll be playing like break stuff or something. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be amazing.
Jeez. I like how Devon Sawa is the only other known name in the movie, and even he is not really a known name.
I thought he fell off the face of the earth like years ago.
Not anymore.
He was
awesome.
He was supposed to be at the Horror Hound convention that I went to last weekend, but he had to drop out because of some sort of filming thing, and it was probably this. Probably
he had to do pickups.
Yeah, probably reshoots for Moose.
I've got all these Tiger Beat posters. I could have had you sign, Piz.
Send them right along, man. Send them right along. Tiger Beat posters. The Moose. I'm looking forward to it.
The Moose.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Was
This is
anybody
unreal.
was anybody else here a member of MoviePass? I personally never became a member because I knew I was like it's gonna the moment I sign up will be the moment that they go, okay, it's over. You know what I mean?
My wife
I'm
did
a-
it.
I'm a kind of a movie theater snob now. Like I don't. It only worked with like Regal and AMC and those kinds of things, and I got spoiled going to Alamo Drafthouse,
Oh,
and they don't have those up here. So we found iPick, and so we go to iPick. But I can't. The only time I go to like a regular theater anymore is maybe to see like a Riff Tracks live or something, because that's the only theaters they do them in. But yeah, I never signed up just because it's like I'm not going to AMC. Like I can't anymore. Like eating that crappy popcorn and sitting in those horrible seats. Like just
Well,
doesn't
and they
feel
lie their ass off by saying it's IMAX. That's not IMAX. It's called
Right.
LIMAX.
Limax. There you go.
Climax, that's funny.
Which I did see my first IMAX movie, by the way.
Oh, what was
really.
it?
That's yeah, I know I'm kind of behind the times, but there's no theater like anywhere around me. But I was in Memphis a few months ago, and I saw the Rampage movie. And it was like I spent like $100 on tickets for this fucking movie, man. Like it was nuts.
You should have hollered at me, man. I'd driven down.
Oh man, it wasn't worth it. I can tell you that much.
The nearest IMAX to me is like northern Kentucky, right at the tip of you're practically in Cincinnati. The closest thing we've got is RPX, which is like the Regal. It's bigger than the regular screen. It's kind of got this parabolic kind of thing to it, and it's got really good sound. But not quite IMAX, but I'm assuming fairly close.
This was a Malco, and it said IMAX all over the damn thing, so it very well could have been lying. But
I could have seen Jason Goes to Hell, the director's cut in IMAX at the Horror Hound, but the way they scheduled everything was like one thing right on top of the other. Everything was scheduled together. So I basically missed every screening and every Q&A that I wanted to go to because I was in line for something else. So that sucked.
There were a lot of IMAXs in the DC area because like you could go to like the Air and Space Museum, but then there was one like out in the boonies of Virginia. I'm actually not sure if there's any up here in my area now. But I think the first movie I saw was like Superman Returns. Like I made an effort to see that in IMAX.
I think the first one I saw was Star Trek, the remake. Might have even been the second one.
Yeah.
So it says the same thing. I have IMAX all over the place. I just don't pay the fucking price.
Yeah, it's sort of there's few movies that are worth it. Like
I saw Indiana Jones. I saw Raiders in it, which was pretty cool.
I saw True Lies. The Harrier jet sequence was amazing. But this is the movie I want to see in IMAX. Is the Heart is Deceitful Above All Things with Ozzy Argento.
Oh, scandalous.
You know this story, right? You guys are following the story, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the little boy that's now charging her with all that stuff.
It's the what's the guy's name? The Terminator or the whole fake author thing?
Which one?
J.T. Leroy.
Leroy, yeah.
Oh, J.T. Leroy, yeah.
So
B movie
got all
Mike
that about it as well.
B movie Mike is with us. What's up, Mike?
Nice.
Hey, what's up going on, guys? Can you hear me?
It's been a while since we've heard that beautiful voice. How's it going?
Smooth voice.
Man, been a while since we've done the show. I missed it. It's good to be back.
Well, how have you been, man? How was your summer?
Oh man, down here it's always busy. Everybody comes down here to enjoy summer.
That's true.
But it's all right. It's all good. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of work. I know I'm ready for fall. Bring it on. I'm an October type of dude.
Oh man, that's my jam.
Yeah.
Same here.
Now I'm starting to get excited. It's like the beginning of the year is boring. Summer is hot, crowded, and busy, and now it's fun time. I can feel it gearing up.
It's already fall weather up here. It's like 60s. Amazing.
Oh, can't wait for the friggin' heat to break here. I noticed the leaves are coming down now, though. They're just starting, so
yeah,
it's coming.
Yep, it's gonna be here before you know it. Summer blew by, and before you know it, it'll be winter. And God, But did you see any movies this summer, Mike?
I don't know. I've had such a disappointing time at the theater, and then spending the money and the hassle and stuff like that, I went to see The Meg. That was like the only movie this summer I went to see, and I'm glad I did. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun with it too.
Yeah,
I know there was some controversy from the director and the star about it. They wanted an R-rated cut. They wanted more gore. But really, after sitting through it, I didn't think it was hurt by the PG-13 rating. And in fact, I think it was actually kind of helped because it could have went Piranha 3D really, really easily.
Mm-hmm.
It could have went super cheese mode, but it didn't. And I think holding back a little bit made it a little easier to, I don't know, take it a little more seriously, even though it's not a movie you would take seriously. But
Yeah.
I enjoyed all of the Jaws references. I'm not just talking about like the first movie, but the entire, all four movies. It's like a feast for Jaws fans.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's like, oh shit, that's from the first movie, and there's a reference to the second one. They even put some stuff from 3 and 4 in there. I was like, but they did it so that it wasn't so Friday the 13th, 2009. You know what I mean? It was a little better implemented. Little pieces of music here and there if you're paying attention. And Statham was great. I mean, it was an 80s action film with Jaws, and it was great. It was a popcorn movie. Definitely a great time. I haven't had that much fun at the movies in a long time, so it was great.
Yeah.
Your review is going to encourage me to see it then, because I read just a lot of disappointing reviews, and I don't think I could have gotten out to see it anyway, but I wasn't in any rush. But if you liked it that much, I think it's probably worth checking out.
Well, I mean, you know what you're getting yourself into, right? I mean,
it is exactly what it says it is and what it's supposed to be. I mean, it's if you like cheesy 80s action films and you like shark movies, and boom, it's a win-win.
Exactly. It's a movie about a giant shark starring the transporter. What more?
And Dwight from The Office.
And Dwight from The Office. What more?
That casting choice I do kind of question, but he did a good job. I'm not saying that he was bad in the role. It was just kind of weird to see him play that type of a character.
Mm.
But he did good. I mean,
and the future new Batwoman is in there too.
Ruby Rose.
Oh yeah,
Ruby Rose.
Yeah.
Ruby Rose. Is she in John Wick?
She was. Yeah, she's the chick with all the tats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's in Orange Is the New Black too.
Okay.
I kept thinking she was a different actress when I saw her, because she reminded me. I think the actress's name is Karen Duffy. She was in Dumb and Dumber. She was an MTV personality back in the day.
I know who you're talking about.
She reminded me so much of her that it was just kind of like, oh wow, it's a younger version of that chick. But I guess she's some up and coming Australian model type thing going on. Hey, more power to her. She was good in the role. She didn't distract me. So, that's another thing. The child actor, the little girl, was great. I mean, all the actors didn't pull me out of it by giving hammy performances. They all did the best they could, and I appreciated that.
What was Statham complaining about? Was he just complaining about the rating?
Yeah,
I thought he said something.
Well, I think he said that they
shot more.
They shot more and they cut it. So there's going to be an R-rated cut or whatever on Blu-ray.
Eventually, pissed off he had to wear a shirt for some of the shit.
He was pissed off he had to be sober.
He's like, I'm 52 years old. You know how hard I work out? Let me take my fucking shirt off.
I don't blame him. I would too.
Yeah, I'd walk around naked for sure.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, did you guys, last year we did the Last Jedi show, which was a spirited debate. Did you guys see the Red Letter Media thing about the Plankett review? It is genius. If you have not seen it, whether you like the movie or hate the movie, the stuff they go after is so on point.
It's a beautiful thing. It's what I was saying, but it's saying it in a little more palatable way, I guess, a little more tongue in cheek from a third person perspective with the character. But yeah, I agreed with all the points, and I loved their video. That was great.
It was hilarious. Just the way they took down the Laura Dern character, it was so funny.
But those were comparing her to go back. If you go back and watch our video, and these are the exact same points that I bring up. As what's wrong with the movie, but I guess I was just labeled a hater and I don't like women or something. But I don't know, whatever.
got 800,000
I don't
views
think-
in 24 hours.
I'm too stupid to understand the intellectual power behind the script. Apparently,
I don't think
know.
we said that to you. Like the people who
No, the makers of the film, you know, and when you attack your audience, you've just lost me as a fan forever. I mean, I didn't see Solo, and I'm not going to go see any more new Star Wars films because, as a fan, my opinion is obviously shunned. I'm demonized for it. So, whatever.
Well,
Let's go ahead, Eric. Finish your thought.
The only point I was going to make is that there seems, and just a brief one, is that there does seem to be this backlash that happens if you criticize something like The Last Jedi or the Ghostbusters reboot, where the arguments about the movie aren't even addressed, and you're just dismissed as like a misogynist or something like that. And I absolutely don't. I don't like that. I think I was one of the people maybe disagreeing with you, Mike, but I was doing so on the merits. And by the way, like I didn't see that review, but I've seen other reviews that touched on some of your points too that I actually thought were really funny and well done. So I think it's unfortunate that like we can, but in the broader community, like you can't even have like debates about this stuff because if you don't toe that line, it's like, oh well, Mike hates women, so he can't talk about stuff.
That goes with everything right now.
This is coming from like J.J. Abrams and the director of the film and Kathleen Kennedy, and it's like if you demonize the people that you're trying to sell your product to, it's going to have an adverse reaction on your bottom line. I just don't see how they don't understand that.
Yeah, but
whatever. Have fun with it.
Let me address the elephant in the room here. Everybody in the chat's like, "Where's Orc? Where's Orc? Where's Orc? What's happened to Orc?" Orc has brought litigation against me over the rights to the show, and that's an ongoing thing. And until those rights are sussed out, you know, he will not be featured on the show. So hopefully soon that litigation will be sussed out. But he's
been served with a gag order basically. So you won't hear
much.
anything out of him. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not for his own sake. But yes, he has sued me for the rights to the sausage factory, and you know I'm countersuing of course. So,
thank you for clarifying that, Piz, because I was worried it was a Me Too situation. So.
No, well, I mean, who knows with Orc? I'm surprised one of those hasn't come out. There's not been accusers for Orc. So,
well, we've had to put Cole on suspension while we're investigating Orc's allegations. There is separate litigation pending on that subject, but we've commented too much already on that.
We can't talk about it.
Can't talk too much about it, but yeah. So that's why Orc is not here. Let me say hello to Rocky Voorhees, to Draven G, to Jacob McCollum, and our old friend Cole is Gay is back.
I was excited to see him in the chat.
Wow.
I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good summer too. And yes, I did hear. I don't know if it's been confirmed, but the rumor, it may have been confirmed. I don't know, but the Rian Johnson Star Wars trilogy, his standalone trilogy, has been canceled. I don't know if that's the rumor. I'm not sure if it's for real or not, but
I'd heard some scuttlebutt that 9 had been canceled.
I thought
no.
Probably 9.
Wait, I can't tell. Is this tongue in cheek? Because I'm pretty sure I saw like a bunch of stories saying like
they doubled down.
Forget the haters. He is still working on it. Like it's still going on. Yeah, it's on Screen Rant right now.
I thought they doubled down on it.
The Last Jedi made $1.3 billion. They're making as many more as they can.
Can I be honest with you? Right, you could have directed The Last Jedi and it would have made $1.3 billion.
Exactly. I know they don't have to keep him. I just mean
sooner rather than later. All right, the name is not going to bring in that money. If they keep making the same mistakes over and over again.
Well, look at
they're selling lettuce with it. They're selling toilet paper with it.
I think it's going to take a while.
With it.
The name is going to carry them a while.
I don't know.
How many of you guys saw Solo?
I saw Solo. I saw it.
I did.
So all of us except for.
And I
haven't seen it.
And by the way, I liked it. I didn't. The issue for me, I thought the issue was a little bit of like I don't know that I just didn't think. I don't know. I guess I thought that material might have been better covered in something like direct to video, or maybe in like a short mini series or something. I don't know. It just didn't seem like movie material to me.
We've seen Solo. It's called Firefly.
I agree. I agree. I thought Solo was a perfectly fine sci-fi action movie, but
Yeah.
as a Star Wars movie telling the backstory of Han Solo, it was a bit underwhelming.
Right. That was the core of it. Yeah. Because I liked it. I thought it was good. It didn't seem to me to be like a major cinematic event. Like it just seemed a little too conventional.
Yeah.
And the thing is with Target, for instance, like it came off right off the Avengers so fast that Disney has a contract with Target that they couldn't pull the toys. So there was no room to put even any Star Wars toys for Solo, and so it made no money in that aspect as well. So it really didn't do well altogether.
Yeah, I think
they did confirm. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Biz.
Well, I was going to say I think I never thought I would. I never thought a Star Wars movie could quote unquote bomb. Just by name alone, I thought it would, you'd never see a Star Wars movie bomb or hear a Star Wars movie bomb, which I'm sure Solo still made a lot of money, but by Star Wars standards, it
was 275 and it made 400. And like the marketing on that was crazy. We don't even know the marketing numbers. That thing was every time I turned on my TV, every time I opened up a web browser, like it was in my face. So
they had to film it twice.
I'd say they tanked.
Well, let me ask you guys this: do you think the failure of Solo can be attributed to just simple Star Wars fatigue, or is it the backlash from The Last Jedi, or maybe a little bit of both?
And timing.
And yeah.
I think it was unneeded prequel fatigue and backlash. All three of them.
Yeah, I agree.
There was a part of me thinking if some of it had to do with the behind-the-scenes drama, that there were hardcore Star Wars fans who might also been mixed up in those other reasons, maybe backlash from Last Jedi, maybe fatigue, but also some people thinking they weren't really sure how the movie was going to turn out since they knew all of the crap that had gone on with the making of it, and so they were like, I'm not going to plop down my my $25 to go and see it.
Eric, but there was so much crap in the 70s being talked about Apocalypse Now. The movie made 100 million, huge hit. Like people don't care. I mean, we care, but like the vast majority of people that just want to go see a movie on Friday night, they don't care. They see Star Wars, but they didn't even show up.
Yeah. No, do they not care? They just don't know. They don't know how. And I find that to be, as a movie geek, when I talk to people, they're clueless about half of the stuff we just take for granted. The knowledge we know, just because this is our world, right? Film is what we do. It's our thing. It's our passion. Most people they put their money down. They go see a movie and they forget it 5 minutes after they watched it, and they're like, "Yeah, it was okay." But they don't care.
It's kind of what ruined. It didn't ruin it. I actually very much like the movie, but it's sort of what ruined the end of Avengers: Infinity War for me. Is like I'm in the know. And I guess I'll issue a slight spoiler alert, but at this point, if you haven't seen Avengers, like, go screw yourself. Like, this isn't that bad.
I've still not seen it. I've actually still not seen Avengers. Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
But you know what happened? I mean, at this point, you have to have known.
I know that a bunch of people die.
Okay, well then I'll keep it within that. I'll keep it within that frame then. At the end of the movie, a bunch of people die, and of the people who die, I know many of them are at this very moment filming their sequels. So it's kind of like it's hard for me to enjoy sort of those scenes. It's a comic book movie.
Everybody dies and comes back, Eric.
Yeah. But I agree with that. But he's right. Like right before I went in to see the movie, and I saw that when it first came out. That's the only movie I probably saw in the last couple of months. They announced 2 movies, 2 sequels, and then I was literally like, I turned to my wife and I was like. I kind of said to her, I was like, well, I already know this is ruined. Like, and I knew that anyway, but still.
But we already kind of, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, but if you look at the ending of Avengers: Infinity War, you can kind of figure out what they're going to do in the second one, pretty much. It seems pretty obvious because
it's obvious. Yeah.
Plug your ears if you don't want to hear spoilers. The only ones left are the first Avengers left.
Yeah.
So in order for them they're probably going to just wipe out the original Avengers so everyone else can come back. But the hard thing is Spider-Man 2, this new Spider-Man coming out, because that comes out a month after Avengers 2 or Avengers: Infinity War 2. So how do you publicize a movie where you can't give away how he's going to come back?
Yeah. I don't know how they're going to swing it.
No. Pun intended?
Pun intended.
Okay. Genius.
Yeah, anyway, I don't want to talk anymore about it, but
back on to the topic of Solo, and then I'll segue into the Marvel world. The thing that I said in my review was that, you know, for me, Star Wars movies are supposed to be event movies.
Yep.
But they become less of an event when there's one coming out every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think, you know, the Marvel movies can swing that because they're I don't necessarily see them as like event movies. They're sort of like chapters in this ongoing universe, whatever. They can swing that at least for a while. But I think it was just simple fatigue. And of course, I mean, people are pissed off at The Last Jedi, but I think it was just fatigue.
Well, that production was plagued with problems from the beginning.
Yeah.
You guys know I like Force Awakens. I like The Last Jedi. I didn't go see Solo because I was just like, I don't care. Like, and I'm a guy that likes Star Wars, and for all intents and purposes, I should have been at the theater seeing that day one. But I watched all the trailers, I watched all that stuff, and heard about the production problems. And I was just like, I just don't care. Like, enough to go, and that says something.
Even with all the production problems, the movie turned out pretty well. I think it was just this the overall story was just kind of underwhelming. Like I said, it is like a sci-fi action summer movie. It's perfectly fine. But as a Star Wars Han Solo, you know, prequel, it's kind of underwhelming.
Cocoon comes the action-packed Solo.
Well, I think Ron Howard did a great job sort of picking up the pieces and putting it together and making it as good as it was.
If anybody can do it.
I think what disappointed some is that we had been hearing for a couple of years now that this was like one of the greatest scripts that Lawrence Kasdan had ever written for the Star Wars universe. So I think people went in with a lot of high hopes, the ones who did see it. But going back what you said about Marvel, I think Marvel can get away with it because each film is a different character with a different tone. Like Captain America, Winter Soldier is so different than Ant-Man. So it's like, it might be the same brand, but it's a different experience. Star Wars is Star Wars. Like, it's the same thing over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. We're so used to the same characters in comics that told completely different in a different world, you know, completely different things all the time. So it's easier for us to accept that, I guess.
Well, did they push back the release of Episode 9? I think I heard maybe they pushed it back a year or something.
They put it December because they'll never do May again.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that was part of the mistake. It was just because of the reaction to Jedi, and I was definitely one of those people that didn't go see Solo because of my dissatisfaction with The Last Jedi. That was a major contributing factor. I don't know. They had The Force Awakens and then Rogue One were a year apart. And then The Last Jedi was a year. And in 6 months?
Yeah.
I think maybe that hurt it if they would have waited till, you know, coming up in December and give us a year wait. I think it would have been bigger. Maybe they would have had more time to fix it. Maybe it could have been better. But for me personally, it was definitely 100% my dissatisfaction with The Last Jedi that kept me away from Solo. And the attitudes of the filmmakers, not just necessarily the product they put on the screen, but the attitude directed at me and fans like me, because we dare not like we disagree with their opinion of our, you know, some of us grew up with this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and we have a definite idea of where we would have liked to seen it go with the original characters that we love from our childhood. And to watch some of them be treated with disrespect and just outright written poorly, it just so you can try to come up with new people that you don't flesh out, and the story is just, you know, Red Letter Media did a great job of pointing out all the crap in the writing for The Last Jedi, and these are things that bothered me too.
I had a problem with. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to finish up with that was why I skipped on Solo, and it's probably why I'm going to skip on the rest of the Star Wars movies. As far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty much done. I've got the original trilogy, and they keep telling me, hey, you've got the original trilogy. You should be happy. Okay, I've got the original trilogy. I'm happy.
I didn't like that Rian Johnson, the director, like, it's one thing if you're going to make your movie the way you do it, and that's great. But for him to go on Twitter and put up, you know, signs that say your Snoke theory sucks. I got problems with that because it's like, you know, I don't know. It's just like, stop trolling the fan base. Just like let the movie speak for itself.
Well, like the reality he put on screen was good.
Well, he didn't even put any reality.
No, you built up this big bad guy to be the new emperor, and then he's taken out like that with no fanfare, no history, no why should we care? All of a sudden they walk in, and there's the reincarnation of Hugh Hefner. and it's like, what the hell's going on here with the gold lame and the bullshit? And this is now they're parroting Empire. Now it's the Return of the Jedi where she's watching. We've been through all this shit, but it was horrible. I'm sorry, the writing was horrible, and Rian Johnson is a moron. There, I said it.
I still love Looper and Brick though.
Ryan Johnson directed. Didn't he direct like the highest, most watched episode of Breaking Bad, and what might be the best episode of Breaking Bad, Ozymandias? Wasn't that Ryan Johnson? Cameron, do you know?
He's a good filmmaker. I don't think there's any doubt that he's a good filmmaker, and I thought he would bring something really special to Star Wars. And in my opinion, I mean, it didn't happen. I don't know what happened there. I wasn't a fan of The Last Jedi either. If anybody who is, I mean, I have no, nothing against you.
No, I mean, you're right.
Kill yourself right now.
I'm not going to tell you what they told me. Go ahead.
But even if you like the movie, I ask everybody to check out the Red Letter Media video, because it will make you reevaluate and go, like, I'm not kidding you. Like, I like The Last Jedi, but when I was watching their video, I was thinking, wow, they're really going to make even the likers hate the movie by the end of the video. And
I have it queued up. I have to watch it.
Yeah, I need to watch it too.
You'll love it.
All the others are great. So
I like the movie, and I'm looking forward to watching it.
I wish I could have said it as great as they did. I mean, they hit every point. Beautiful.
Is there? I'm wondering if that's the one that I've seen, because I've seen one where the guy he attacks it from a few different ways, but there's one in which the guy talks about like basic storytelling concepts in terms of setups and payoffs and character development, and it's really sobering to watch, because I've defended the movie and I still like it, but it really does sort of dismantle some very fundamental things about the movie. And you do start to wonder if some of the things Ryan Johnson did was just to be different. Mm-hmm. So like Mike's talking about, like with like the throne room scene and things, I actually still think to some extent that it's interesting that they do introduce this character and we think we know how it's going to go, but then it doesn't go that way. And, the pseudo Vader character actually does kill his boss. And now is he in charge, or what's going on here? I kind of like that. But I can certainly understand that it's disappointing, because it's like, well, there's this whole backstory about how all this stuff kicked off that, well, now he's gone. So what happened?
Well, the truth is, Eric, Ryan Johnson did not take the story where JJ would have taken the story. Like, he set up a movie and he just said, oh, I'm going to just do this with it. And so that's why JJ's coming back going. And they've already said that Episode 9 will be the longest Star Wars film in history, basically to clean up a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And bring a catheter and a pee bag. You're going to need it.
It's funny because my wife was pregnant when we saw Avengers, and that movie's already like 2.5+ hours. And she was telling me that. She's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it through this movie.
Yeah.
I think I was even watching The Force Awakens and Rogue One and now this one. I feel like there's a movie missing. And The Last Jedi kind of clued me into what it could have been. I needed to see anyway. Let me put first person here. I needed to see Luke and Kylo and the Knights of Ren and the build-up to the First Order.
Yes.
I feel like there's a story missing there that's more interesting than the one we got in the last film. Like when we see Luke, like Luke standing over him with his lightsaber. How did they get to that point?
Yeah.
Right. I want to see more of the original cast, together again, even if it's not for a war, but just I wanted to see like what happened. I just feel like there's a missing chapter that we didn't get to see that would have set these movies up to be better than they are.
Yeah.
So I want to see the Knights of Ren. I want to see what happened and how Kylo went from being Ben Solo to being this, Darth Vader type person. When he says, I'm going to finish what you started, does he not understand that Vader turned good and killed the Emperor? So by killing Snoke, is that what what? There's a missing story. There's a missing chapter that I think if they could go back and do a prequel,
So
or
what if they
something
did
to
that,
try
Mike?
to short things up?
Would you be
If they
say,
did it
back on board?
with respect? If they did it with respect and in a way that was satisfying to the original trilogy and bound the new ones to the old ones in a better way, yeah, they could bring me back. But leave out the topical humor, right? That's for the Marvel films. I don't want to hear your mama jokes. I don't want to hear Sprint jokes. Okay, I want Star Wars. All right, I don't want to hear this shit. Okay, and I don't want today's socio-political issues in a movie that takes place in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Okay, we don't need purple-haired Avengers in the Star Wars films. They're in our reality, okay, and that's fine. That's our reality. That's not their reality.
Yeah.
And I think The Last Jedi got them confused. It was a little too much of our society mixed in with their society, and therefore it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Mike's core complaint about the story is actually one that I share and continue to share and am worried about. And the fact that the third movie is going to be so long, I think, it's because of this. You have to lay it at J.J. Abrams' feet, where he was so concerned about preserving the mystery and keeping things. And then the movie that he delivered, tonally, I think, has a fundamental problem in that. So if you watch, let's just go in chronological order. I know the original trilogy is the one everyone loves, and that was first. But just from a storytelling perspective, in the prequels, those start, and the universe is at its height. There's the Massive Republic, and there's bureaucratic bloat, but whatever, and there's Jedi, and it's awesome. And then it ends, and the Empire takes over. Then in the new trilogy, it honors that reality. The Empire has been in charge for many years. The universe is kind of old and dinky, and there's this upstart rebellion trying to stop them. And then that trilogy ends with the defeat of the Emperor and Darth Vader, and conceivably the end of the Empire. Just the way it happens. I think logically people understand that they wouldn't just be all gone after that defeat, but that for all intents and purposes the Empire was defeated. But this trilogy starts, and you sort of do like it's troubling that it starts and just the first thing you see is a big old Star Destroyer rumbling by. And it's kind of like, this hasn't really honored the story that came before. Like, I have no problem with the concept of the First Order. Like, I think that, again, it makes some sense. Like, hey, these guys went away and hid, kind of re-energized themselves. But to just sort of start and have the First Order being this massive, powerful entity again, and yeah, they're the First Order, but they look like the Empire. They're the same friggin' guys. Like, yeah. It really, you sort of, it's like, well, what was The Last Jedi all about? It makes, like, it sort of robs that ending of some of its power now, because you sort of think to yourself, like, well, yeah, our heroes were maybe happy and fulfilled for a time, but then we come back and basically they're doing the same thing over again. Like, I almost think it would have been interesting to do The Force Awakens as kind of like a bit of a, I don't know, maybe like a spy Cold War type movie, which would be new for Star Wars. You haven't really had that, because maybe the First Order's out there and maybe they're like a presence, but things have to be played out differently because nobody wants a big war again. But that movie decides, like, no, let's just blow up the good guys and okay, the Empire's back. Like, that was their decision. So honestly, I do blame J.J. Abrams for a lot of this, because he's the one who set up the initial architecture.
And again, that could have been in the what I call the missing movie. Right, where we could have seen the Empire turned into the First Order at the same time we see Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren and all this stuff develop leading into The Force Awakens. Right? I mean, that's where I think they made a big mistake. Not only did they ask a lot of questions with the Force Awakens, but they created a lot of questions by creating these things that were already established, but we don't know where they came from. Yeah. Then they ask a bunch of questions that they don't answer in the next movie.
Yeah.
Or they give very insultingly just brush off answers. Oh, your parents were nobody, you're nothing. They were crackheads. They sold you for gas money, whatever. Next, and who's Snoke? Okay, build him up to be this big bad guy in The Force Awakens, and he's Hugh Hefner, right? Or something. I don't. Well, who's he? Where'd he come from? Is he Sith? We don't know. Are the Sith dead? Is there a new mutant variation of the Sith now? I mean, there are a lot of interesting things they could have done, but they chose not to, and I don't know why. It's just disappointing.
Well, especially since J.J. Abrams built up Snoke to be basically Darth Plagueis. Because the music playing under Snoke's scenes is the Darth Plagueis music that the Emperor talks about when he talks about killing him. Same music.
How about, he was supposedly killed by the Emperor from the original, because he says in the prequels, right? But he also said that that guy had figured out how to beat death.
Conquer death. Yeah.
So maybe he did survive, but he wasn't strong enough to challenge the Emperor. And then after the defeat of the Emperor, he decides to make a comeback with the First Order. Right. But where's that movie? Where's that story?
In the expanded universe stuff, well, again, it's all tied into its main continuity now, but it's just in the books and comics. There's actually an interesting story that they're still only hinting at, which is that when the Empire was defeated after kind of like the Alliance, we truly defeated them at that planet where Rey came from, they sort of went out into like the outer reaches, like into the darkness of space. And they keep hinting at like there's this story about, and even reaching back into like the history, like with the Emperor, that like he was very interested in the darkness, like out beyond the galaxy, that there's something there and these things. And they've been sort of hinting that either Snoke came from there, or maybe Snoke was Plagueis and he went out there and got himself strong again. But all the point, like, there actually seems to be like some really interesting stories that they're hinting at and playing with. Like, why don't you just tell the story? Why does everything have to be this friggin' mystery? Like, tell us an interesting story and we'll watch it. Maybe,
JJ in his nothing box, man. It's just,
what JJ's good at is building up a concept and a world, and then he moves on to the next thing and lets other people take it over.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure the next team taking it over is going to follow through.
Right. What the Star Wars films seem to be missing, and it's like a joke actually, but they seem to be missing a George Lucas. Because now, we've all had our complaints about George Lucas over the years, but at least with like the original trilogy and definitely with the prequels, like he was the guy saying, this is the story. Now, maybe Lawrence Kasdan is going to come in and write Empire Strikes Back, but it's like, we're still going to tell what the next story is, and it has to conform to that. Kathleen Kennedy, it would seem to me, is supposed to be that person, the Kevin Feige, the George Lucas of the Star Wars universe now, but she's either not doing it well, or actually isn't that. She really is like a more traditional executive producer, and that she'll say like, oh, hey, yeah, little girls don't like Luke Skywalker, they like Rey, but she's not actually being like a steward of the story.
She's not a story editor.
Yeah, like, to be honest, the proof is in the movies. I mean, I can maybe disagree about the merits of The Last Jedi with Mike, but what I don't disagree with him about is the fact that The Last Jedi discards a lot of the things that The Force Awakens was setting up. Yeah. And that is problematic. There were a lot of things that were set up that didn't pay it off. Yeah.
That not only was it a terrible continuation of the original series, it was a poor sequel to The Force Awakens. So to me, it was a failure on all levels.
Yeah.
Even though it was eye candy. I mean, I'll give you that. Right. It looked good.
Were there any other significant summer movies that you guys saw that you want to talk about?
So Lando is a pansexual. Let's get into it.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't hear you.
I can dig it.
Piz, who can afford to go to the movies when I got all these Scream Factory things I had to order? Like, they dropped like 14 of them on me over the summer. I'm broke.
Well, they're dropping like 20 more here in the fall and winter and into next year. I mean, my goodness.
I actually thought at one point, how could they find anything else to do?
I'm hearing rumors that there might be a Stepfather box set coming.
Oh, nice.
Carrie O'Quinn, yes.
Carrie O'Quinn. Have you guys watched any of Castle Rock?
I have, yes. I've not seen the very last episode they did, but I've watched it. And you know what's funny is I've watched every episode up to this very last one, but I don't know if I like it.
I really like it. I keep
delaying.
Like it.
But you like it? Are you a King fan?
I like it.
I'm a King guy. The one thing I would say about it is going in, it's called Castle Rock, so I kind of assumed that it would focus on just Castle Rock stuff, but it's kind of everything. And I guess that makes sense because King is everything anyway, right? But
yeah,
they certainly aren't shying away from stuff outside of Castle Rock.
Isn't Castle Rock like the universe in which all of his stories take place?
Castle Rock is one place in Maine. Like, if you think about it, he's kind of got his own United States in a way, but in Maine, he's made up a couple of different places. He's got a dairy, he's got Ludlow, he's got Castle Rock. And there is a Ludlow, Maine, but it's not the same as his. Like he's got his own little world in there. So Castle Rock's kind of one place.
And a few of his stories take place there too. Like
There's like 5 books.
Specifically, yeah.
Yeah, like Dead Zone's there. Needful Things is there.
Stand By Me is Castle Rock in Oregon.
Yes.
But in the book, it's Maine.
In the book it's Maine. Yeah, and like they reference The Shining a lot, which isn't Castle Rock either, but it's close enough, I guess. So it's everything King. Which is kind of cool. I just kind of assumed it would be more. It's kind of weird because I've watched it, the whole thing now, and the only thing that's really, if I was to say that's Castle Rock, is one of the main characters in the show is Alan Pangborn, who is the sheriff of Castle Rock, and he appears. He's the main character in Needful Things, and so, like, other than that, though, they've kind of created their own characters and made this own very Kingian story that's in Castle Rock, it's pretty impressive, I thought. But
are there any indications or references to any Dark Tower stuff?
Not Dark Tower specifically, but there's lots of references.
Lots of references to other Stephen King stuff. Every episode is just a plethora of like Stephen King references.
Nice.
Another cool thing about it is it has a lot of actors that were in other King films and stuff like
right.
Sissy Spacek has a large part in the Bill Skarsgård, who's Pennywise in the new It, and there's quite a few more, but.
Yeah, there's Bill Skarsgård's basically like they call him the Kid. There's rumors that this is all going to join in, and there's a reason that he's in it, and happens to also play Pennywise, which I don't know if I buy, but it's kind of interesting to think about, I guess. But it's Sissy Spacek that is awesome in it. You didn't watch the last episode, Piz, so I won't say anything, but it's all about her in the last episode, and it's really interesting. My buddy was like, "Oh, it's a filler episode." I was like, "No, I was like, fuck it." Like I was like rapt attention the entire time.
Like every episode. I mean, I've found them very, very interesting, but it's like I don't know. I don't know. It's like
the thing to me is the main character is the least interesting guy. The story around him, like Henry, like if I were to say that Henry was, if I was going to pick a main character, I'd say Henry Deaver's the main character in the show, and everything around him is interesting, but he himself is pretty boring. And it's sort of like, I guess that makes sense. It's kind of all this stuff that's going on around him. The last, anyway.
Yeah, his backstory is interesting, like what happened to him when he was a kid and blah, blah, blah. But like what's going on now, even though he's like the lead character, it almost seems like he's the least important character.
He is. I would say that too. Like I find like Molly Strand is much more interesting. And there's another great reference. She's clearly got the shine, if you ask me. And things like that. Like it's
and what's her name? Oh gosh, Jane Levy. Her last name is Torrance.
Well,
her uncle, right?
Yeah, she basically said, I was waiting to hear, because in Dr. Sleep, which recently came out, it came out that Jack Torrance had an illegitimate child. So I'm like, is she the daughter kind of thing?
Man,
but she said, no, it was my uncle kind of thing. So, and she named herself Jackie to piss off her parents, which was cute.
I haven't seen Castle Rock, but I saw a movie over the summer that I didn't think was all that successful, but Ready Player One has the most stunning Shining sequence.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. They run into the movie. Literally, they run into the space where Jack is doing his infamous typing. I don't know how they created that. It looks too good for CG. I mean, some of it's obviously CG, but that room was an exact replica when they run in there. It's stunning. Stunning.
That was my favorite part of the movie, hands down. But I liked Ready Player One. They had a lot of cool references in there, and Jason's in there, Freddy's in there.
Yeah.
There's a nice sequence with Chucky in there. I had fun with the movie. I had no idea that we were just going to run into The Shining halfway through that movie. Yeah, that was awesome. That was freaking awesome. That was awesome. That was my favorite part of the movie.
You've got like Mecha Godzilla and all this like weird shit just together. I mean, that was fun to see, and for nostalgia nerds, definitely. But the movie was just flat to me. Other than that.
I do like you guys talked about Castle Rock, though. I was on the fence. I never finished 1963. I couldn't, kind of like Piz is saying with Castle Rock, I could never decide if I liked it. Like
it's
it's
the same team, really. It's Abrams.
It's like I liked the book until the end, which is usually my problem with Stephen King, is he can't end anything to save his life. But I think that's why I hesitated to watch Castle Rock, is because I was like, I don't know, I don't want to invest in this and then just hate it, or basically just I didn't want to start something that I was just going to burn out on.
So it's not. It's not
That's
Kingdom
a big
Hospital.
King fan, man. You would definitely like it.
I think like I said, I think it's its own thing, but at the same time, it's a nice nod to everything he's done. Because it's really its own story. Like I said, there's one character that I can think of that it really feeds into the actual universe, and it's its own thing. Other than that, it just kind of takes bits and pieces here and there. It could end shitty. Sure. I don't know yet.
I have a prediction that Kathy Bates will show up in the finale.
Oh, that would be great. Well, I mean, very rarely is there a show that I find myself having to go back and watch certain scenes, from previous episodes, just to make sure that I was right about things. I don't know. It's really one that keeps you guessing, which is I think a cool thing about it.
Yeah, like every episode is like it's almost like this weird cliffhanger at the end of every episode, and like you're wondering, okay, so is this dude? Okay, is he the devil? Is he an alien? Is like what's going on here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he does turn into Pennywise at the end, I'll like it.
That'd be pretty cool.
I like I said, I can't buy that, but Bill Skarsgård is like he's nailed. He's probably one of the better characters. Like he's like my wife's watching it with me, and she's like, he's so creepy. Like he just walks with this like. All the time with this little hunch and I was like, she hadn't seen it yet. And I'm like, you got to see it because once you see him do that role and then see him do this role, it's like, I don't know, the guy could do anything. I think it's pretty cool.
The way they shoot him,
he always plays weird. He always plays weird.
Huge dude, but the way they shoot him,
he's only like 6'3" though. He's not like as massive as he looks.
No, he looks big. I guess.
I liked it.
He looks huge.
I kind of like that he's playing the non-pretty boy roles, because I mean he could be cast as the pretty boy in anything. Even when he's kind of cast as the pretty boy, he's still like the weird, creepy pretty boy. You know what I mean?
I was trying to explain that to my wife. I was trying to say like, no, he's like he's the good-looking guy. Like he's the I was trying to explain that to her. She's like, I don't see it. Like I'm like I don't know. Like I'm like, do I have to bring up pictures? Like I don't know how to explain it. But when he got cast as Pennywise, I remember it was kind of a thing. Because I was like, how could this pretty boy sell Pennywise? And he does that, and then in this role, he's got no makeup. He's just himself, but he's just doing this this kind of this weird thing with his body where he's smaller and more diminutive than he is, and he's so creepy and weird in it that he's selling it. I think he's doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna be careful because he's gonna start getting typecast where like this is the only thing people are gonna cast him to do.
Did you guys see any of the Hemlock Grove show?
Yeah, I saw.
That's where I knew him from primarily, and that's what he is on that. He's the the hot guy. The Dawson's Creek baseball.
Oh, okay.
But he's the hot guy who's like a vampire.
Sure. Yeah.
I hear they're going to release a director's cut of it around the time the second one comes out.
Good. I hope they include the opening that was supposedly cut of Pennywise back during the like when the settlers were first in they're in Derry, and it's supposed to be
still no kid orgy though.
No kid orgy. Hopefully they'll include that, or that'll jump over into chapter 2. That scene.
I've been wondering if that's what they would do. If they might do something like that with the adult characters instead of the kid characters in the second part. But I don't know. I think they're just getting rid of that.
I think they'll just gloss over that whole thing.
But I'll bet you they'll do. I'll bet you when 2 comes out, they'll do what they do with the Marvel stuff, and they'll play 1 before 2 at special screenings so you can watch them back to back.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah. And the casting for that movie looks really good. Like they cast people who look a lot like those kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jessica Chastain was a great choice, I think. Bill Hader playing the Richie guy. What's his name from Professor Xavier?
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy's in there too.
Wow, they're going all out. Huh?
Well, Piz, that helps when your first movie makes $400 billion.
That's true.
You'll be able to get the cast you want. I know
I always hate when they do that with an all-star cast. It just
I'm sure they're going to throw a lot more money just into the production too. Hopefully, I mean,
I wonder if they're going to bring the kids back too for like.
They are.
There's a picture online of Jessica Chastain high-fiving the girl from. So they're gonna have a little.
Yeah.
because they didn't have any of the adults in the first one, which I thought was kind of strange. Like I think I said, the movie ended. I was sitting there like, what a second.
I think it's because they didn't know they were going to. My memory is they didn't know they were going to be able to make the second movie. They made the first one, and they wanted to make it sort of complete in of itself if they could, and I think they succeeded at that. But now that they're doing this one, that's why I think the kids are in it. Is I think they might actually try and adapt some of the form of the book, and like maybe do flashbacks to things we didn't see.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, they did that a little bit in even the second part of the miniseries. They flashed back to the kids a couple times.
Yeah.
But isn't that how the book is told? It's constant flashbacks.
Constant back
Throughout the book, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're going to do back and forth a little bit in the second one to pair that up.
I would like that, but it never translates exactly how you want it to in an adaptation. So it may work better the way they have done it so far.
My only thing about part one is that they let Ben be the one that's like the town historian when it's supposed to be Mike, the African American character.
Right.
And by removing that aspect of Mike's character, Mike had nothing to do.
That was one of my biggest complaints because Mike was my favorite character, and they really changed quite a bit of his character. And
they're gonna make Mike like a drug addict in part 2. Like he's the one that stuck around, of course. While everybody else left and prospered, he stuck around and he's aged and he's, an alcoholic or a drug addict or something.
So he's not the nice librarian anymore?
No,
darn.
Apparently not. Yeah.
I love that aspect that he just, because he was the town historian, he stayed around. And I like that aspect. I don't know.
I like that.
Everybody.
Cary Fukuyama was interviewed recently about that. And he made a comment about how he thinks that the studio didn't want him because they couldn't control him.
Oh.
That was a quote of his from this was like just within the past week. I read that.
What does that mean?
That's what he says. I don't know, but he thinks that. I mean, heck, maybe he wanted the kid orgy, and the studio was like, no.
Well, there was actually there was a website who broke down because that dude was working on it on the It movie for years.
Yeah,
and he did like 2 or 3 different scripts, and this website like broke down each of the scripts, and it was a lot darker, but he did weird things where like in one of the scripts. What's the Jewish kid's name?
Richie?
Stan.
Oh, Stan.
He turned Stan into a goldfish. Stan is not a boy, he's a goldfish. He's the lead character is like goldfish. Which is weird. I don't know why, but yeah, it's a goldfish. Which is interesting because I guess in part 2 the goldfish commits suicide, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess just jumps out of the bowl. I don't know, but yeah, it was a lot. I think that it was just a darker take on it than maybe the studio wanted from him because he kept doing different revisions for the studio, and he just kind of kept it dark. And I don't recall. I don't think that the kid orgy was in any of the
I was joking. Yeah, I don't think it was either.
But
how could you, man?
Now there was the opening of Pennywise back in the day before he'd taken on the clown shape, the clown form, where he is basically he tells it's like the settlers in Derry, and there's like a woman in a room, and he goes, I'll eat your baby and I'll be done. I'll go away. You won't have to worry with me. Or I'm going to eat everybody in the town. And the woman goes, okay, eat the baby. So Pennywise goes and eats the baby. That was supposed to be the opening that they shot for chapter 1. So that's why I think that was supposed to have carried over into the first one. And there's supposedly a picture online of Skarsgård. He's all red with like yellow eyes. His skin is all red. I don't know if that's real or not. What's his name? The director, Muschietti, has denied it, but a lot of people are saying that it is because that scene is in the original screenplay. It just didn't make it into the movie.
So that would be director's cut stuff.
That could be director's cut stuff. Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Well, nothing now since you're sitting there holding a baby.
Oh, sorry, he can't hear you.
It involved Pennywise eating a baby.
Oh yeah.
That's dark stuff, huh?
Dark stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely into it though. I always like it when it goes that direction because it's such a dark story, you know.
Yeah, I like that the movie went as hard as it did. I mean, it really put like the kids are the main characters, and they take the brunt of like the abuse that gets like dished out in the movie. And I was just happy with how the movie honored that. Like, it didn't seem to shy away from it so much. I mean, even the stuff with like Beverly and her dad, I wasn't sure how much of that they were going to get into. And again, it's hard to get into the depths of it like the novel can, but the movie did it. I mean, they were like, okay, like this is a pretty screwed up situation, and this is what she deals with. And
I didn't like the way they handled Bowers and his father at all. You know, they completely changed that whole deal.
Yeah,
and he was actually, I think, more likable in the film than he was in the book. He wasn't as a hated type person as he should have been. I mean, he's almost sympathetic because his father was so mean to him. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now he's got justification for doing what he does. But I don't know.
I mean, I think that was in the book too, but he's just such an awful asshole that even if his dad's mean to him, you're like, I don't care because he's terrible. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Mike?
I was like, well, maybe his dad's mean to him because he sees, what an asshole his kid is, and he's trying to, correct the problem, but he's just going about it and he's feeding the fire instead of extinguishing it. Or maybe that's kind of how I felt about the movie version of it anyway. I kind of felt like his dad understood that his kid was a psycho and he was trying to protect everybody from him. Because there's that one scene where his dad shows up at the school and his kid's bullying them, and he looks over and he sees his dad, and his dad kind of shoots him a look, and they leave. They leave the kids alone. So I don't know. Or maybe his dad created the problem, feels guilty about it. I don't know. It seemed like there was something missing there, definitely.
Well, it's just like in the book, his dad was like bottom of the barrel, like ultimate piece of shit. But in this, he's a cop, and he's like respected by the community and stuff. I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me.
I think it's a modern thing, though, where bad guys have to have a motivation and they almost have to be sympathetic. You almost have to understand why they're doing what they're doing. I kind of miss the old, we don't know, and that's why it's scary.
Right. like look at the bad guys in Christine, right? It's, they're just picking on Arnie to pick on Arnie. We don't get into their background, but we understand bullies are bullies, right?
We know that Buddy Repperton is an asshole. That's all we need to know. Right? We all went to school with an asshole like Buddy Repperton, okay? We don't need to know exactly what happened to it.
Those kinds of characters recur in like all of Stephen King's stories to some extent. Like, that guy must have had like the shit beaten out of him on a daily basis or something, because he seriously, like, they're in everything. So there's a reality there he's putting on the page to work through it.
The most vicious stuff you could possibly imagine one human being doing to another.
Yeah.
It's like these kids doing it to each other. It's like, oh man, like I've experienced bullying and shit, but never like got my stomach carved up, Like,
right.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let me throw something out real quick to you guys, because I'm going off. This is news, horror news, and also off one of Rambo's recent videos. What's your guys' take on Maximum Overdrive being released? I know they couldn't find the footage and all that stuff, but just the presentation of the disc. Do you like what the contents of what you're seeing? Do you wish it had more stuff? Like, what's your take on it?
Well, I think it's great that it's getting a Blu-ray release, and the extras that are on it look good. I mean, I would have preferred. It seems like there's been enough time and enough separation between the movie and King's feelings toward it that he could sit there and even if he's just poking fun at it, you know what I mean? Or maybe he was just so coked out of his gourd he doesn't remember a damn thing about it. I don't know. But sit down and watch it and react to it. You know what I mean? I mean, that would be great. I would.
He probably doesn't remember a lot about it. I know he claims that he doesn't remember writing The Running Man. So
yeah.
well, then sit down and watch it for the first time. And
I agree. I can see where you're coming from. That would add a lot to it.
Realize how big of a seller that would be if it had a Stephen King commentary.
Well, and here's the thing too. Surely he understands. The movie has a big fan base. Clearly, if it's getting a Blu-ray release like this, it's got a huge fan base. If you're saying that you think the movie is crap, then what are you saying about the fans of the people who love it? Are you saying that we have crappy taste? Or are you? I mean,
Well, I don't know. It seemed to be a phenomenon amongst horror film actors where they would deny that they were in these films starting out. like it was an embarrassment that they were even involved in this stuff. Then you have the ones that have a sense of humor about it, and they come around and go, yeah, that was a real fun time in my life. You know, we didn't know what we were doing. It was a job. You know, it was fun. I kind of was trying to take myself too seriously back then, but now that I look back at it, you know, it was a fun time and I had a great time doing it and blah, blah, blah. That's the attitude we enjoy because it's an entertainment to us. We never expected it to be Citizen Kane.
Right.
So if you're such a pretentious bastard that you can't just sit back and look at something and go, oh, I can see why they like it. It's funny.
Yeah.
That's what we want from them, but some of them can't let it go.
I know.
And I think that's what Rambo was upset about. Is that he doesn't want to watch a bunch of extras where the people that made the film tear it down and make us feel stupid for liking it.
Right. The only thing that the commentary with like comedian. You know, the comedian, and like there's a commentary with Ryan Turek, and I know Ryan Turek is a big horror fan, but do I want to listen to him talk about the movie? Not really. Do I want to listen to a comedian try and be funny while they're watching the movie? No, not really. You know,
we want King, we want Estevez. You know, we want some principles from the film.
Right.
You know, giving us their recollections of what it was like. You know, because we know it's silly, right? But we love it because it's silly. You know, we made you. Hey, the waitress going up, and then she gets wasted. Yeah. You can't consider that.
The Sausage Factory did a commentary for that. So
yes, we did.
That was a good one.
I'm surprised they didn't contact you, Piz, to put that on the disc.
I still don't know why.
But you know, I think and instead of there having to be a commentary, if that's all you can provide, honestly, you know, why even do a commentary? Honestly. Yeah. Like the other extras look pretty good. I mean, they've got interviews with a lot of people that were involved in the film, and I'm sure it's going to be a good looking Blu-ray release. You know, if Michael Felsher's involved in it, it's going to be, you know, he's going to give it his all. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think that King, you know, it's like, dude, you know, give us an hour and a half of your time. And either do a 15-minute interview talking about the movie or whatever. Even if you bash it, just talk about it or revisit it. You know what I mean? Give it another look, dude. You know what I mean? You can do the interviews all day talking about The Dark Tower and how great a movie that is. You know what I mean? Ugh. Talk about a movie that people actually like. Give us your thoughts on a movie of yours that people actually like. You know what I mean?
Usually with the Vestron Blu-rays, I understand the initial price tag because of what they provide. Like if you look at their Warlock collection, if you look at Wishmaster, I get why they're, you know, $45 sometimes. I don't understand the $39.99 price tag on Maximum Overdrive so far. I mean, because these extras might be 15, 20 minutes long. I know Felsher always does a great job with them. I just look at that and I go, I can wait for this one to hit $16.
Mm-hmm. I think it's $40, huh?
So that's kind of a symptom of what we had talked about a couple of years ago about the death of physical media and how things will go to a collector's market. Because we see, I don't know if you guys see, stores carry fewer and fewer physical titles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Amazon is where you go now if you want to get a Blu-ray copy of something, because it's not going to be at Best Buy or Walmart or any of these other places. They're stocking fewer and fewer of these things. So the collector's market is going to be where it's at. So they think they can charge more and more for it because it's a special item. So I think that's kind of, they're testing the waters for future releases to maybe where all physical releases are considered special editions and they'll all be expensive.
Another thing I noticed, Mike, which is the Scream Factory phenomenon, which is, let's take a movie. Okay, I'm not trying to pick on this movie, but let's say Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4, The Next Generation, whatever it's called. They announce a title, and all of a sudden, that movie has like the biggest fans on the planet. Like everyone's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe Scream Factory released this. I'm the biggest fan of this movie." Like I understand every movie has its fans, but my goodness, where were these fans prior to Scream Factory announcing it? It's like Scream Factory touching it is like Criterion touching a movie. All of a sudden, it's like it's redeemed in the eyes of like every horror fan.
Right. Well, did you guys see that the original artwork that they did for that Blu-ray release?
Mhm.
It had Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger on it, and then like literally a week later, they were like, "We've had to change it," and they took off Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey. So
Yeah, I can't believe their publicists are still not wanting them advertised on it.
yeah, well, I mean, both of them have talked about the movie. Like Renee Zellweger talked about it on Inside the Actors Studio, and I've heard Matthew McConaughey talk about it in interviews. You know, I mean,
the issue of Fangoria about Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. The other main story in that issue was about Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, and so I think I had to get rid of it years ago. Like it was falling to pieces. I didn't take good care of it, but I remember that there was like a huge piece, and there was all kinds of set pictures and shots of Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger just talking about the story. I just think it's funny how they tried to distance themselves from it, and it's this
they tried
dark
to
secret.
They tried to ban it in 1996 when A Time to Kill and Jerry Maguire was coming out. They tried to pay them off to destroy the print.
Well, I love that movie.
And in a way, though, I can kind of understand as an up-and-comer, just because of the attitude of producers, right? Oh, we can't hire that person. They were in that bullshit Chainsaw movie, right? So, but now they're both up in age, right? And he's won an Oscar. They're well established. And I haven't really followed her career, so I don't know if she's won any prestigious awards or not. But if she has, good for her. But at this point now, you'd think they would have developed a sense of humor about it. And it's how can it torpedo a career that, they're basically in their twilight years of their career anyway. What big blockbuster role is going to come their way that this movie is going to ruin for them?
McConaughey's done worse movies than Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Have you seen Failure to Launch?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Surfer Dude.
Yeah,
Come on.
he's done worse movies.
If they each did 30-minute interviews with Michael Felshore, commentary with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger, that Blu-ray would be one of the biggest sellers in Scream Factory's history.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You got to embrace it. It's something you did when you were younger, trying to make it. Everybody's hungry. Everybody needs a paycheck, right? It's a movie.
It's like Kevin Bacon. He still won't talk about Friday the 13th.
I don't get that stuff.
Well,
to me, it's a reflection of a bad personality.
Yeah.
Well, and I think probably a lot of it is the managers and the PR. It's probably not it's not the individuals themselves. Because now when I heard Matthew McConaughey talking about it, he talked about it like it was fun, like he had a blast doing it. You know what I mean? It was a lot of fun. So I think if you could get beyond his people, he'd probably be like, hell yeah, all right. Give me a beer and a joint and let's do it. You know what I mean? But it's the PR, it's the wall of his people.
So what you're saying, Piz, is that the Sausage Factory Nation should tweet to them asking them to come on our show to do a commentary with us.
Yeah, of course.
The same people that won't let him talk about Chainsaw won't let him anywhere near us.
Yeah, but Twitter goes directly to them.
Sausage what? Hell no.
But yeah, I don't. Well, and a lot of Scream Factory titles, I will hold off on buying because they have sales all the time. And when they do a sale, a $30 Blu-ray will be, $16 or something like that. So I do get a lot of, I'll get a lot of, I mean, there's some stuff I've got to buy, I've just got to buy, you know what I mean? Like I pre-ordered the new Creep Show Blu-ray that they're putting out. I couldn't say no to the freaking Night of the Demons with the Angela figure. Couldn't say no to that.
I've bought that damn movie so many times.
I know. I couldn't say no. I just couldn't say no. They're doing they've got a bunch of good movies coming out.
Yeah, they do.
Candyman is coming out, thank God. Finally.
Candyman is tempting me horrifically. I as you guys know, I don't buy them because they're so expensive up here, but Candyman is so tempting.
And they're keeping all the extras from the previous DVD. And I would sell the DVD because of that, but I have Clive Barker's autograph on it, and I can't get rid of that. So
no, I can't get rid of that.
You can't do that.
No.
And I mean, like, I think if you pre-order it, it comes with like some kind of like lithograph or something like that. I don't know. There's all kinds of goodies that come with it.
There's kind of I'm just looking at it right now. There's like 5 different covers.
Yeah, and like the Critters collection, you know, the Critters is getting a freaking box set.
I'd love to own that. Too.
Wreck is getting a box set.
Breck is getting a box set. Yes,
Munchies.
Munchies, of course.
Are you serious?
Star,
Yeah.
yeah, Munchies and Munchies too.
Double pack Munchies.
Yeah.
Everyone should alert Creepy Kentuckian that Munchies is coming to Blu-ray.
It's happening. They're doing Trick or Treat.
They're doing Trick or Treat. Yep. Urban Legend they got a
Yeah.
collector's edition of Urban Legend coming out that our buddy Peter Brackey is actually producing.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
And they just detailed the extras on Trick or Treat too. If you go to Blu-ray.com, there's a little piece on it. They detailed that, and they detailed the City Slickers Blu-ray set, that they're doing, which is pretty amazing. It's got an epic cover.
I see they've got Dracula Prince of Darkness on here. Are they getting into Hammer? Oh shit! I want to lose some money on that.
Let's not forget Stephen King's Sleepwalkers.
Mm-hmm. It's too bad. Hopefully, I mean, I've always heard that there was an original cut of Sleepwalkers that was like really crazy. I would hope maybe they can find some deleted scenes from it or something. I like
The Cat People incest movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
the one that
And-
was
Yep.
Mark
That's the one.
Hamill at the beginning.
And we're getting Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 collector's edition. Thank God.
Finally.
And that one's going to be loaded with a lot of cool stuff. So that'll be cool. That'll be freaking cool.
Is
And
there
there's-
like a secret Sleepwalkers cut where it doesn't suck?
Now what did they announce, Piz, that's not yet orderable yet? I know there's a few other titles that they announced that you can't order yet.
Let me see if
I just picked up their It's Alive box set. They had it for $20 at Best Buy.
Cool.
I couldn't resist that.
Cool.
But yeah, there's some good stuff coming out.
Let's see here.
Got a ton of stuff coming out,
Craft.
man.
Saturday the
It's not-
4th.
It's not Scream Factory, but the Batman animated series Blu-ray comes out in October. I already pre-ordered that bad boy, especially because it comes with a digital copy.
Yeah,
So
and it's
that's pretty cool.
$87, and it comes with Mask of the Phantasm and Sub-Zero. Apparently, there's another movie that's not included.
Mystery of the Batwoman.
That one, yeah. I don't know why they didn't include that one. But the thing is, though, Mask of the Phantasm and Sub-Zero each got their own individual releases. So you can save money on those and just get the one big box set.
10 to Midnight, the Charles Bronson canon classic movies coming out from Scream Factory.
Yeah.
Screamers with the late great Peter Weller is coming out. Did somebody mention Saturday the 14th? That one's coming out.
Yeah.
Of course, the Urban Legend sequel's coming out too. Single White Female, The Craft. So they got a bunch of stuff, man.
Yeah. And you said there's going to be 20 more announced in the fall? Oh, God.
There's I mean there's tons of stuff.
Really trying to hit that like cult market, aren't they? Like with the craft and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, there's tons
what's
of
your-
craft fans out there.
What's your number one Scream Factory like wish they would release? Yeah.
Just off the top of my head, probably Fright Night 2, which I actually heard that Fright Night 2, Lionsgate used to own it, but now they don't own it. Another company owns it, so I don't know what's happened there.
So it's not Vestron.
I'm not sure if that means something's maybe happening with it. I don't know, but definitely Fright Night 2.
Love to hear that Menendez story
Oh yeah,
really come out.
yeah, for sure.
I'd like to. They'll never do it because Scream Factory's already told me they can never do it. But I would wish they could do all 3 cuts of Cursed, because they do exist. The editor Patrick Lussier told me I have all 3 cuts of it, and I would love to see that be a box.
They released a good one.
I think I own 2, and they're both not very good.
No, but just as a collectors from a Wes Craven collectors, I just would like to see it.
Have you seen all 3?
No. There's only one. There's only the PG-13, the unrated cut. Released.
Okay.
But they shot the movie 3 times with 3 different casts.
Okay, and then they didn't release any of that except for
No.
Okay.
Only the last version.
except for the final version, the ultimate version, the ultimate.
But
awful
Mandy
version.
Moore was in one movie, and like they had other like Punky Brewster was in another version of the movie.
Is Lex Luthor in all 3 versions, or
I don't know.
Actually, I don't think so. I think It's been so long ago. I know there was they cast a bunch of people and then they had to recast them when they did reshoots, and it's just an absolute mess.
I saw it once, hated it, never revisited it. It's
Yeah,
just-
the one that was released in theaters is god awful, god freaking awful.
It's not good.
No. Oh, but you know what? Another one would be The Hitcher. Let's get The Hitcher out.
Oh my god, hell yeah, The Hitcher. Why is that not gotten?
That one actually surprises me.
That
They
one
haven't
shocks
that one.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not gotten a good release.
That's a day one purchase for me.
Yeah, because like the DVD release that was released
That's a flipper, isn't it? Like
over the one that was released overseas actually has some good extras on. It's got like a commentary and a making of that's actually really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie deserves a Blu-ray for sure, without a freaking doubt.
Yeah, that's my number one right there, The Hitcher.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, how hard would it be to get a Rutger Hauer or C. Thomas Howell commentary?
Yeah, I mean,
that shouldn't be difficult.
Or even a sit-down conversation at the diner with them now, like talking.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be cool.
yeah, and at the end of it, Rutger Hauer can lick pennies and put them on C. Thomas Howell's eyelids.
And he probably would do that.
I'm sure. Yeah, hell yeah, he would. Hell yeah, he would.
Hell yeah, he would.
That would be that's definitely a movie. I'm shocked.
With all this talk of it, they should do it, like the TV series.
Well, they did a Blu-ray of it, but I mean it's kind of a bare bones.
Oh, is it okay? I didn't know they had it.
Yeah, it's not a very good Blu-ray, unfortunately.
And the Blu-rays and the DVDs, which is interesting, they there's like 5 minutes of footage that they didn't ever put on it when they connected it as one big movie when it was a two-parter. If you go on, I totally forgot, but on YouTube there's these scenes that they shot to join them as two different parts, which never got put into when I made 1 3-hour cut of it. So,
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I do have to mention something now that we're back on the topic of it. I don't know if you guys saw my Horror Hound weekend recap and haul video, but they had put Robert Englund and the It Kids. They had like all of the It Kids with the exception of the girl. They put all of them in the same room together, in kind of a small room at that. And there was no organization as far as the lines were concerned going where you just walked into a room and you just kind of fought your way to where you needed to go. At one point I found myself standing amidst a sea of tween girls who were absolutely losing their minds over these It Kids. I crying, hyperventilating, just freaking out over these It Kids. And I was like, am I at a horror convention or a One Direction concert? Like, what is going on here? Like, it was a complete first, because I mean, it was like tween girls who would never come to a horror convention in their lives, probably never knew that horror conventions existed until the opportunity to meet the It Kids.
I'll be honest, I assumed you were talking about the It Kids from the original.
Like, no, like I was new one.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, from the new one. Those little kids were
I can't believe
there.
they'd be into that.
And they were freaking out, man.
You sure they weren't in line for like Carl Grimes or something?
No. Listen. I said this to my girlfriend at the convention. I was like, these freaking It Kids are going to be the new what the Walking Dead cast was to horror conventions a few years ago. These freaking It Kids are going to be the new bane of horror conventions going forward. Whereas before it was all like, soccer moms, orgasmic over Daryl at horror conventions. That's going to be tween girls, losing their minds.
Is the Twilight cast sitting alone yet at some of those tables where you got to like pay $20?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked they're not. Honestly, I'm shocked they're not.
I'm surprised Ashley Green and all them aren't there.
Another 10 years. Give me another 10 years.
That's a good question.
Because I remember when I saw Corey Haim, I saw him a year before he died. And nobody was. He was just sitting alone with his mom at a table. It was so sad. And I remember saying to my wife, 20 years ago we would be stampeded to death if we were this close to Corey Haim. So
yeah. So that was a weird experience at a horror convention.
Did you say Robert Englund was in the room with them?
Robert Englund was they put Robert Englund.
Robert Englund was looking in the corner. He's like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Well, yeah. I waited 3 hours to meet Robert Englund, and I heard the little Georgie kid do the "you'll float too, you'll float too, you'll float too, you'll float too" at the top of his lungs 20 times.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Like they would stop the show and like open up like a hole amidst the little girls for him to walk out, and they'd all be filming him as he recited that over and over again. It's just like,
Was the kid from Stranger Things there?
No, he was the only one not there. Him and the girl were not there. All the rest of them were there.
All the other ones had free time.
All the other ones had free
He's
time.
filming Stranger Things 3, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But yeah, that was interesting. That was interesting.
Yeah, the kid that plays Mike in it is also in Castle Rock. So
That's right. Yeah.
Speaking of Walking Dead, the newest season just came out on Blu-ray. It's the first season to ever be released without a digital code. So,
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
got to buy them separately.
Did anybody see Hereditary?
Yeah, I did.
I heard it was really good.
I liked it a lot. This is pretty freaky.
Is that the one with Tony Collette? Or
Tony Collette, yeah.
okay, I haven't seen that. I was very interested to see that one though.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. My girlfriend hated it. I loved it.
Well, it's
The
more of
whole
a
thing,
drama,
really?
right?
Wow.
Isn't it more of a drama?
It's definitely got dramatic moments, yeah, and the dramatic moments are really good. The acting in the film all around is really good. Tony Collette was fantastic, and like the kid, the male kid, the son is really good.
Last 20 minutes of that movie will keep you tuned in.
Yeah, like the last 20 minutes, it just really like like the whole movie's building, like something just absolutely bonkers and really bad is going to happen, and then it happens, and it happens for like the last 20 minutes of the movie. It continues and it just gets worse and worse.
I saw that, and there was one other guy in the theater with me all the way at the top behind me, and I swear I kept looking back and thinking that dude was behind me. I'm like, motherfucker. Because the surround sound was making it sound like he was moving around and stuff back there.
It was quite good, and it was it was pretty good. I definitely recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody? I noticed a couple of people in the chat were talking about Upgrade. Did anybody check out Upgrade?
I've heard excellent things.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I loved it.
The Upgrade, I haven't.
I loved it. I dropped a review of it today. I loved it.
That was on a short list of, like, if I were to think of 3 movies I have really wanted to see, Upgrade was in there. I just thought that the trailer really grabbed me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I really.
It was one that got away that I did want to see, but I did hear good and bad about it. It looked good to me, so I still want to see it.
I just haven't seen like something like that, like a dark sci-fi fantasy action horror movie. What the fuck? Like that doesn't come out anymore. Like when I first saw the trailer for that, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So
Is that Lee Winnell? Did he do that?
Lee Winnell wrote and directed it. Yeah.
We're getting very close to The Predator coming out too. Oh,
The Predator. Yes.
I can't help but want to see that just because I'm such a Predator fucking
I'm
nerd,
gonna see it because I'm an idiot. But
yeah, I know it's gonna be bad. Like the more I see about it, the more I'm like, this is gonna be bad. But
we want it to be good because we need a Fred Decker comeback.
You goddamn right we do. And I'm not trying to say anything about Fred, but I also like Shane Black. I don't know. Like I just have this bad feeling. I don't know.
I hope it's good. I'm not like super duper hyped for it, but I'm definitely gonna watch it. I really do hope it's good. I mean, I think hopefully what they did with like the reshoots, where like they test screened it, and the test audiences had some issues, and they said, okay, let's make it better.
Has there ever been like a situation where like test audiences say a bunch of shit and they go back and change it and it's actually better? I mean,
well, yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
The thing that gets me about test audiences, yeah, like that's always to me that's like the death mark. Like when I heard that happen to the movie, I was like, shit. I can't think of a movie that I've heard that happen to that I was like, oh,
but from what I heard, what the issues that the test audiences had with it were issues that we would have with it too. So they went in and they tried to fix those things.
Now,
so it could be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, you say Shane Black and Fred Decker. That should be a home run with the Predator, since Shane Black was in the first Predator. Yeah, like it should just be a home run. And then when I saw the trailers, I was like, this does not look like a home run. What is going on here? And then the only thing that keeps me sane about it is there's never been a good trailer for a Shane Black movie. So Sorry, gotta mute.
Dog.
No
Well,
problem.
yeah, I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm
I
definitely hopeful.
Today I wonder about like who are the test audiences? Like when I hear that nowadays,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
like is it a bunch of tweens? Like they go into like this movie's stupid, doesn't have enough like
Well, yeah, I mean that's a good question.
Drake in it.
'Cause
Well,
They're not using their iPhones enough.
yeah.
I always watch there's some like reality shows that they go into these people that go do like surveys and they just do like they rate products and people's presentations and stuff, and it's like who are these people? Like
right. Well, I think they picked the wrong audience, and they don't understand. Like with you always heard about the Weinsteins. Like when they would test their movies, they always picked the wrong people to test screen their movies to. It's like, okay, here's Halloween 6, and we've got a room full of elderly people. What do you guys think? You didn't understand it? Let's reshoot 90% of it. You know what I mean? So it's like they go out of their way. I think it depends on who the test audience is.
That's what
I
I'm
don't
wondering,
understand why the monster's cutting everybody's heads off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like about what that
exactly
series is about. I mean,
it's kind of like walking in. If it's a movie like that or like a Halloween movie, those need to be test screened for fans, not for the random guy walking around the mall with a freaking Hot Topic bag in his hand. You know what I mean? Or like let's go grab a bunch of people from the food court, at Panda Express, and you know what I mean, see if they want to watch the next Predator movie and give us their thoughts.
Just put the movie out and we'll tell you if it's good or bad. I mean, they don't have any faith in movies anymore. That's the thing.
I was gonna say, like, are they throwing money away? Like, I mean, if it's gonna do bad, it's gonna do bad. If it's like if it wasn't a good movie, like they're not gonna save it by doing a test screening and throwing another like million at it. Like,
the people who defend test screenings say that if you take the if you only take some of the, I don't know how to put it, but the positive things can come from test screenings because they can tell you what's working and what's not working. Like if you've made a comedy and people are just, they're not laughing, then you've missed something. You know what I mean? So you can get some good feedback from a test audience, but when you start taking too much of what they're saying, you know what I mean, then you it turns into a Halloween 6 situation.
Yeah, I mean, what Piz is saying about comedies, if they know an audience is like laughing and they're laughing a little bit too long, they'll actually go in and put like buffers to between lines so that the audience can laugh and then they can hear the next line of dialogue. They'll do that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's oh god, I totally spaced. So, but yeah, it's a crazy thing. Terry Gilliam once said, "You've made a movie that's an elephant. You're very proud of an elephant." But then the audience says, "We don't want an elephant this year. We want a giraffe." And so the studio says, "You need to go reshoot and make this a giraffe." Well, you can't. What you're going to have is a very warped elephant. You can't do it. So
that's my worry about all. Whenever I hear about it, I'm like, I'm out. Like I don't know. It spooks me.
Well, the thing that they always said about like the Weinsteins with their test screenings was they always wanted to know, quote unquote, will this play in the sticks? So they would test screen their movies in like, the Midwest, in like just a random mall in the Midwest, and just pull in a bunch of random people. And if they got it, cool. If they didn't get it, any portion of the movie, like they didn't understand the ending or they didn't like the ending, they would reshoot half the movie, including the ending. You know what I mean? So any little piece of, feedback was like, is like this Midwestern soccer mom can cost this huge movie studio millions of dollars because she didn't understand the ending of the movie. Exactly. Yeah. So that was how they would like do their test screenings. And that's why so many of their movies were just hacked to pieces. You know what I mean?
They were also known to create scripts for other movies that didn't go anywhere, and then they'd be like, you know what? Just turn this into a Children of the Corn movie.
Exactly. That's what they did with a bunch of Hellraiser movies. That's what those directed video Hellraiser movies.
Those were like Every one of them was like, I was like, did they just I used to think, did somebody come into them with a script and they're like, we can't sell this on its own, but let's make it a Hellraiser. Like they just like they're so desperate.
They would, if you've seen Hellraiser Deader, the original screenplay for Hellraiser Deader, or it was just called Deader, was like at one time voted like the best unproduced screenplay in Hollywood. Like people were like, it was like, it was like a sought after property, and it was just laying around on a shelf. And they go, okay, well, what if we made this into a Hellraiser?
I don't understand. Like that I would love like
and shoot it back to back with
Hellraiser set with some explanation of what they were thinking. Like like a Hellraiser book. We gotta call Peter. Like I need some explanations. Like that whole franchise blows my mind.
Yeah, that whole thing. Like from like I would love. I mean, speaking of like a Blu-ray that I would love, I'd love a Hellraiser Bloodline Blu-ray with like a Kevin Yeager interview on it. Like that movie just absolutely fascinates me, because that's another one that was just tore to pieces.
That Never Sleep Again style documentary for the Hellraiser set.
That's what I'm talking about. Like I need that. I need some explanations, because what a great franchise that just got fucking.
But you won't get Harvey on the record now unless you get him in a jail interview.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, he'll do all kinds of interviews from jail, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, he'll have plenty of free time.
He's got lots of time. Yeah.
Oh, well, I see Eric had to run. Eric had to go. Well, let me mention to the audience out there, guys, if you have ideas for show topics that you want to hear us discuss, please leave those in the comment section. If there's any movies out there that you'd like to hear us do a live commentary for, let us know. Leave it in the comment section.
And not because certain speculations have been that we've run out of ideas.
Yeah,
we just want to make sure that and we present something you actually want to watch, because we could talk about the nerdiest shit on the planet, but you may not care.
Yeah.
So
when we had our chat to figure out last season, we had a million ideas, which was shocking. After 5 years of this shit, so it's 6 years. We still got ideas, but
yeah, there was no shortage of ideas. That's for sure. The
leftover ideas from previous seasons still we haven't found a way to stick in. Yeah. So the lack of ideas is the least of our problems.
Exactly. I'm hoping this year we'll be able to cover the Ilsa series once and for all.
the main problem, honestly, is just scheduling. You know what I mean? Because you've got, we all
have lives and jobs and families and things that pull us away to reality. This is what we do for fun, right?
And time zones we got to deal with.
And time zones,
exactly. So, and a lot of those show topics, they required us to do some research, to go and watch some movies, and so it.
And the fact that we're going on our 6th year and still going, that's amazing that we made it this far. There's a lot of people that started up shows after we did that ended, a long time ago.
Right. Exactly.
We're still going.
Let's see. Did anybody see? Anybody see the first Purge? What'd you think of that? Did you like it?
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. What about? I actually heard good things about the. Oh God, what was that sequel? The Strangers. I actually heard good things about the Strangers sequel. Did anybody see that?
That one I didn't care for.
Okay. I've heard people say that's like a. Okay, Cameron, take care, buddy. I've heard people say that it's just like a good old fashioned, straightforward slasher flick.
Hey, I'm all for that.
I
honestly, it was not on my radar at all, because not that I disliked The Strangers. I caught The Strangers in theater. Like, I liked that all right, but I never would have even thought twice about a sequel. I don't think I've ever seen a Purge.
I've never seen a Purge.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I keep hearing like all the time now. Like I've heard they're doing a Conjuring. Is it a prequel?
Yeah,
the Nun. They're doing the Nun.
The Nun, is that? But is there also like another Conjuring movie coming out? Or is that the one I'm seeing all the stuff?
There probably is like another all of those coming out.
Like I like The Conjuring a lot, but I haven't watched another. Like I know they've done like Conjuring 2, they've done the Annabelles, they've done like
The Conjuring 2 was amazing.
The Conjuring 2 was really good.
I gotta watch that one. I gotta watch that one. Then.
I think Annabelle, The Awakening or whatever it is really good too.
Yeah. Annabelle was that prequel was surprisingly good.
First Annabelle's not good, but
first Annabelle sucks.
I've been like so checked out of horror in like the last 10 years. Like I honestly feel like this October I'm just gonna pick all new shit. I'm gonna watch all this stuff that I missed because like there's actually good movies out there now. Like this new Suspiria remake. Like I don't know, man. I'm hyped up for it.
I'm too. It looks great. It looks great.
Good.
It's got an all-star cast.
Like I keep hearing like just little like I'm trying to keep away from the information about it a little bit because I've gotten so hyped for it, and the little bits that I'm hit like, man, I don't know. I'm thinking that's gonna be like horror movie of the year. Like I don't know. And Halloween's coming out, and Halloween kind of has me hyped up too. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be...
I don't know that one's worrying me a little bit, but
yeah,
I just take it for what it is. I understand where they're coming from, but when you go back and you rewrite the ending to the original. That makes me nervous. You know, it's like,
I don't understand.
You know, it's like I understand you want to wipe out the stuff that happened after it. And if you have a good idea, let's hear it. But when you have to go back and change things about the original,
I still don't understand why they couldn't, like, to me, and I am looking forward to it a little bit, why they couldn't keep 2 in the timeline. Just doesn't make sense to me.
They wanted to take out the brother-sister angle.
Yeah, like, and I don't know why you needed to take that out. Like, just
I think that's one of the better things about the movies.
That's.
I think they just wanted to take it back to the simple. He's just he's the force of nature. He's obsessed with Laurie Strode. There's no human motive. He just is.
Yeah, he's the force of nature that got arrested the night of the original and went back to the asylum and that did nothing for this 40 years. Until a reporter shows up with the mask and reminds him of who he is, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, I should be killing people. Thanks for the reminder."
He's been
Hopefully
waiting.
There's a better reason because he waited for the first one, right? And that was kind of one of the cool things was he waited. So if there's a better reason why he waited, I can eat that. But I can completely understand where you're coming from on this one too. Like, I'm iffy about that whole. I like 2 so much. Like I
mean, it's like what was the hell? The first time it was like what 15 years he waited. Mm-hmm. Now it's 40. Dude, what the hell is he waiting for?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. True evil is patient. That should have been the tagline. Evil is patient.
There you go.
Maybe he liked the food. Maybe he liked the food. He's like, oh, I can't go out now. They always serve pizza on Tuesday. I fucking love that shit.
You know?
Oh, not pizza day.
Hopefully there'll be like a sequence of Michael Myers eating pizza. Yeah.
It's like I wish they'd stop moving pizza day to Halloween every year. Damn it.
Yeah.
I just can't skip the pizza. It's delicious.
That's why I get so pissed. They run out of a slice or something.
I don't know. Whenever somebody says they have a genius idea about rewriting something that's considered classic, it's like, yeah.
Why not just redo it in your own way, as something else? Completely.
I feel like somebody in the chat mentioned, has they ever done like this movie's called Halloween and it's a sequel to Halloween? Has that ever happened before? And I was kind of thinking of The Thing, like they did it. It's a prequel, but even that movie is still it's a pseudo remake. They just tried to cover it up with they tried to put a little drape over the top of it and say it's a prequel, but it's a remake. Like it's the same beats, everything, right? So.
They're trying to make everyone happy, I think is what it's trying to do.
Like they
usually end up making nobody happy when you do that.
Yeah, like I kind of like this could either go 2 ways. It could really hit well and we'll see not only a resurgence of Halloween but some other horror franchises because that's how this shit goes. Or it's going to tank.
And if
it does, it's going to take everything with it.
If they didn't have John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis involved in this, would anybody care?
No.
I think David Gordon Green and Danny McBride would bring some awareness to the movie, and of course, in Blumhouse would bring awareness to the movie too.
But would it bring the?
It wouldn't bring the amount of hype that's behind it now.
Well, because those 2 people are from the original house, so that brings a lot of legitimacy having them involved, right? So I wouldn't take it as seriously. I would take it as another, oh boy, here we go with another half-ass Rob Zombie movie, you know. But they pull in the principles, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, this could be pretty good. But we all know John just gave me a paycheck carpenter. I mean, his involvement doesn't excite me. And Jamie Lee Curtis, it's like, well, you hated it so much you wanted to get killed off in Resurrection. Now you're back again. I don't know.
I was just gonna say, like, with John Carpenter, like, really, what is his involvement? Like, I feel like they went to them and they needed some names, so they got them on board. I just don't think that matters.
Honestly,
I think John's
he's doing the music, so the music will be good. I think he's in it more for the music than anything else, to be honest. Yeah. But the music will be cool. The soundtrack will kick ass. But I mean, let's face it, they probably pulled up to his house with a dump truck full of money. Same thing with Jamie Lee Curtis.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm worried. They were like, we got to get them on here.
Because if you remember 20 years ago, Jamie Lee Curtis was talking up Halloween H2O, and now here recently she's going, I really didn't like the movie. I just did it for the paycheck.
Yeah,
right.
So
20 years from now,
20 years from now,
same thing.
She did that convention 4 or 5 years ago, and basically said this is the last time Laurie Strode will ever be anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know why she's doing it. It really boggles my mind. I guess
claims it's the script. I
don't believe that at all.
I don't know. I don't know, and I'm still excited for the movie just because I don't know.
I need a little numbers on a paycheck to get her in there.
Wouldn't John be a producer no matter what? I mean, doesn't he have to?
He would be executive producer no matter what. I think.
Yeah.
If they were making this movie no matter what, I guarantee his tag would be on it. The fact that he's involved with the music, I mean, he's doing a musical tour in the last couple of years. He's got a CD.
Right.
I feel like it plays into that a little bit, but
I think Cody's also doing music stuff, so he's kind of helping him out a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think they just need to get their names on there because of the distaste of Rob Zombie's. Well, not the distaste. They did well. I think they just needed to separate themselves a little bit. It's like
let me ask you guys this: Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 or Halloween H2O?
I have still to this day not watched Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
I'll say H2O.
So.
I'm gonna have to go with Scream-O-Ween on that one.
See, I'd rather go with Rob Zombie's Halloween.
See, I'm
sorry, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
I actually kind of like. I know this is not a popular opinion, but like in my mind, Halloween 2, and H2O make a pretty good trilogy. Like, not that Halloween H2O is a great movie, but there's a story there, it connects. I've always kind of liked that, but I couldn't watch Halloween 2 after Halloween, so I don't know.
Recently, go ahead.
I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 because that to me is Rob Zombie's Halloween. You know what I mean? He's not trying to be John Carpenter and failing miserably. He's just doing his thing, which is he's it's a jumbled, crazy movie, but I find it completely entertaining. And I actually think the performances in that movie from Brad Dourif and Danielle Harris and Scout Taylor Compton are really good.
I've never had a problem with the performances.
And I think the whole, the thing about that movie, maybe I'm reading into it too deeply, but I mean, he really, we talk about Rob Zombie and how every character has to be white trash and with the cringy dialogue and stuff. I actually thought he made those characters feel real and like their post-traumatic stress felt real. And they, he really, and he even made Michael Myers kind of sympathetic, I thought, which kind of blew me away.
What he turned Laurie Strode into as a character, though, was, I don't know. I mean, I understand it's entertaining just because of what it is, as far as the whacked out crazy crap that goes on in it. I mean, I guess I can understand that, but going back to this new Halloween, so that he's no longer the brother,
right?
So in every trailer we see, she's now become this. She's got a cache of weapons in a secret compartment under her house. And she runs around screaming Michael throughout the entire trilogy or throughout the entire trailer. But there's no relationship. I mean, is that... he's awful damn important to her for having had only one interaction.
Right.
That's pretty strong interaction.
He killed her friends and whatnot, but I mean, we're talking 40 years later, You know what I mean? That's 40 years removed from this stuff, and he's locked away. He hasn't been doing anything. He's grown old and possibly dying in a mental institution. There's been no indication that there's any, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It just doesn't add up to me.
So she's crazy, basically.
Well,
She's clearly been sent crazy.
Yeah, she's been waiting 40 years for him to come back. She's
like John Wick. One of the
If she literally walks around the entire movie with an assault rifle in her arms, like that's gonna ruin it for me. Like, I'm just not gonna be into that movie. So I don't know. We'll see.
I'm looking forward to. I'm actually looking forward to it. Whether it's good or bad, I think it'll be. I don't know. I think I'm hoping it's either good or bad. It's not just meh.
It's gonna
be really good or be really bad. Don't give us just some flat. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
But there is a movie coming out in October that the more trailers I see for it, the more I want to see it, and that's Venom. And I'm kind of surprised about that.
Oh, I am the opposite. Oh, Mike, you and I just have the opposite views on everything.
This is Sony, right?
That's what makes it cool, right?
Yeah.
What
makes this exciting? It's fun.
What is it about it that's turned you off, Raho?
Well, yeah, I it's the geekiest shit, right? It's the fact that it has, as far as I can tell, no connection to Spider-Man. That just puts me over the edge. Even if they somehow have Tom Holland Spider-Man show up in a cameo and give me the idea that they will connect them, I think they could sell me on the movie. But the last trailer I saw, like, there's a lot more dialogue from Tom Hardy in it, and I can't stand the whatever accent he's got going on in his voice. That's driving me nuts. I don't know. I just, to me, you can't have Venom without Spider-Man. Like, his entire thing is he's hell-bent on destroying Spider-Man. So the idea that they've kind of just, that he's not involved whatsoever, I just can't. And now they're talking about a trilogy of Venom movies. And from what I can tell, again, they're not talking about combining this into the MCU in any way.
How would they combine it? Because it's Sony, right?
But Sony owns Spider-Man. They've combined
They're
it.
like allowing them to use him.
So but I thought if they had some kind of cameo where you have some understanding that Tom Holland, like, even if we just understand that Eddie Brock in this movie does hate Spider-Man, like, it doesn't even, like, and then maybe the idea is that eventually he'll be an enemy in maybe a Spider-Man movie. Like, if they connect them even just a little bit, I think they could sell me on it. But the idea that it's just going to be its own thing, like.
Well, I thought it was not public knowledge now that Spider-Man was making an appearance in Venom.
I'll believe it when I see it. I've heard rumors, definitely. But
Zombie Fun says Woody Harrelson is playing Carnage in part 2 if the first one does well.
Yeah, again, like, I could see that. Please, I could see him playing Cletus. Yeah, I could.
Woody Harrelson was one of the better parts of Solo. Matter of fact,
he's been all over the place, man.
I like Woody Harrelson, but I could kind of see him being Cletus Cassidy. I could see that. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, did you guys, keeping it with comic book flicks, did you guys hear that Henry Cavill is out as Superman and Ben Affleck is out as Batman in future DCEU movies?
Yeah.
Oh, but I believe it. Affleck's wanted out.
He wanted out right away.
BVS, after that one came out, because he was going to direct the new Batman movie and he was going to write it. And he was going to be involved, and all of a sudden, it was like after Suicide Squad came out, he was like, "I'm done."
That was like the only thing I gave a shit about was seeing Ben Affleck's Batman.
I still think, like, I know, unpopular opinion in some ways, I didn't mind him as Batman, and I really wanted to see his detective Batman movie.
Yeah. I was happy to see the 50-year-old pissed off Batman that's just at the end of his
I didn't like him killing everyone, but that pissed off old Batman, I was into it. Like, I wanted more of that.
At that point, he had just come to the realization that criminals don't play by the rules and they use my rules against me. So I'm going to do whatever I got to do to take them out.
Okay.
And I kind of like that realization.
How about Woody Harrelson as the 50-year-old pissed off Batman?
You can't tell me.
I think you can
anybody but Nick Cage. Anybody but Nick Cage.
Oh, imagine. Oh, speaking of Nick Cage, did you guys see the Mandy trailer? Jesus
oh my God,
Christ.
that is the most messed up. Like, I didn't know what to think about that. I'm like watching the trailer, and it's like there's a like it was like I was honestly like, did I just drop acid? And somebody just like, I don't know what to think about any of it.
That looks like the best movie ever. I cannot freaking wait to watch that movie.
That movie is that has me excited too. Like that didn't make any sense to me, but I want to watch it.
And Nick Cage reportedly modeled his character after like Jason Voorhees or something. I'm like, what? You know?
He modeled his character after his own life.
You know? I mean, my God.
I'm a huge Nick Cage fan. I could watch any movie just because he's in it, because he's entertaining for all the wrong reasons. But you know, he's a hoot, man.
Oh, this is the guy that did Beyond the Black Rainbow. Is doing this.
That's George P. Cosmato's son, the guy who did Tombstone and Cobra.
I didn't realize that was his son.
Yeah.
I actually that makes a lot of sense, because in the trailer there's a lot of colored lighting and things like that, like the Black Rainbow stuff. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That movie's gonna be a trip.
Can't wait for that. Cole's in the chat. Cole, why aren't you with us? Are you too good for us?
He just came in the last couple of minutes, I think so.
And I know Cole would say he does not like Ben Affleck as Batman.
No, he does not like Ben Affleck at all. I actually thought of him when I said that I didn't mind.
We don't disagree on everything. I enjoyed Affleck as Batman. So we
no,
agree.
I know. I was just joking. No, I agree.
I didn't mind him as Batman. I didn't mind Henry Cavill as Superman either. I actually liked Superman Returns. I know most people hate that movie. I liked it.
I really liked. It wasn't Superman Returns though. What was the Man of Steel?
Man of Steel, not Superman.
Yeah, that's one. I actually really like Man of Steel, and I don't like Superman. I'm a hard sell on Superman just off the hop, like the whole Boy Scout thing and like the overpowered, pieces of it. Yeah. When I went to see Man of Steel, I was into it. And my biggest complaint about Batman versus Superman was that it was the Man of Steel 2 movie that they should have cut a bunch of it out. Yeah. Cut out all the other characters and had it be Man of Steel 2, because it could have been a decent movie.
They were trying to, spoilers, kill off Superman. So
like whatever, exactly. They were trying to do that too early and all that, because they rush everything in that universe.
They brought out what's his name? Judgment Day, movie 2.
Yeah, like
or movie 3. It's like so early in the game.
They just they're just trying to do everything too fast. I don't know what they're trying to get to, but they're trying to do everything too fast. But
I've actually never seen Superman Returns, the one that Bryan Singer did. I'm talking about Man of Steel. I liked Man of Steel.
I haven't seen Superman Returns.
Well, the good thing about Returns was they got Lex Luthor. I mean, he's disgraced now, but Spacey was a great Lex Luthor.
Right? That is one thing, man. I don't know how Lex Luthor is like it makes no sense to me how you could screw that up so badly in movies, but they've consistently screwed that up.
I wanted to meet the person that made the decision to put that guy in as Lex Luthor, so I could just smack him right in the face.
Well, I can remember seeing Donner's film back in the day and thinking, Gene Hackman, you know what I mean, and he's such a charismatic presence in the movie. You live with it, like you're like you get into it. But when Jesse Eisenberg, what the fuck were they thinking?
Hackman.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Yeah. Jesse Eisenberg was, but that was like Lex Luthor's son, also named Lex, or
they tried to sell something like that.
After the fact, they tried to spin it, but technically he was supposed to be the Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
It's a mess, man.
It's a mess. But I did like Cavill. I mean, he looked like Superman to me. Like, I'm actually surprised he got out. I knew Affleck would want to get out. He's got so much star power. He could just be like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. And what are they talking about? The guy from Mad Men? I think I heard. What's his name? John something.
Fuck.
I heard he's gonna step in.
That guy.
Yeah.
He's a little old, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, the idea of Affleck's Batman's supposed to be in his 50s or whatever, so.
Yeah. Was it the same dude that was in Baby Driver?
Yeah, John Hamm.
Okay.
That's John Hamm, yeah. He's got, what's that movie he's got coming out that looks crazy as hell, too? It looks awesome with, it's like a hotel right on the state line between two states.
Oh.
What's it called? It looks awesome.
Oh, yeah. I just saw a trailer for that the other day.
He's done a bunch of cool stuff.
It's got a big cast. It's sorry, I don't mean to derail the talk there.
Oh,
I'm
it's
glad you reminded me,
Bad Times at
Bad
El
Times at
Royale.
El Royale. Yeah, this
Yeah.
movie, like if you guys watch the trailer for that,
Oh,
Chris
I'll have to-
Hemsworth,
to check it out.
Nick Offerman, Jeff Bridges,
Oh wow, I'm on board.
particular. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Joe Johnson.
the trailer for it looks really good. It looks really good. In fact, I think John Hamm got pulled into it at the last second. I don't think he's got a big role in it, but he kind of I remembered him from the trailer.
He's great at Baby Driver. You know, as the,
I haven't seen Baby
bad
Driver.
guy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah.
You haven't seen Baby Driver? Yeah, you gotta get on that, man.
That's bad. Yeah, that's
You would love that.
Yeah.
Another movie with Spacey in it. There was a movie with Spacey in it that opened, I think, last weekend, and it
Oh my god, I don't even know why they did that.
it pulled in $126.
Billionaire Boys Club or something like that.
Yeah.
$126.
What were they thinking? They were like, we're hopeless. We can't go reshoot it with fucking.
That's like 5 people bought tickets.
Yeah.
Anybody got Christopher Plummer's phone number?
Yeah, like honestly, like they couldn't get Chris Plummer in.
Oh man, that's so sad.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let me remind everybody that if there's any specific show topics or movies that you'd like to see us do live commentaries for, tell us in the chat
Right now. Staring at the chat.
right this instant.
I'm gonna write them down.
I know someone mentioned a Texas Chainsaw retrospective over the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can't remember who it was that I saw it in there earlier. Which we could always do that.
Well, we've done commentaries for the first 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could do a commentary for the Next Generation when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Oh shit!
As I said, I love that movie.
I do too. I like it too. It's just crazy.
I definitely like the only one that I really want to rewatch sometimes is the third one because I don't remember that one very well. Leatherface.
Leatherface.
Yeah. A 10-hour commentary for the Decalogue series. I don't know what the Decalogue series is.
It got a good Blu-ray release not long ago. Leatherface.
Did it?
Yeah.
I can remember renting that movie and falling asleep, and then I just never went and rewatched it. I just literally fell asleep. I was like, he's in a gas station. There's a car driving away, and I just passed out. I don't remember much.
I don't remember being that great either.
There's 2 good commentary ideas from the horror reel: Return of the Living Dead or Night of the Demons. Both of those would be great live commentaries.
I'm down.
Yeah. I love the return. That would that's another one that I would like to see. Not Night of the Living Dead, but Scream Factory do would be Night 90. That'd be a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love Night 90.
Yeah, well, Twilight Time did it before, so it's due a proper.
It doesn't have a real proper
transfer.
Yeah.
It's I think that Day for Night stuff looks like crap in the Twilight Time. Is what I heard.
Yeah. Umbrella Entertainment released a pretty good copy of it on Blu-ray,
Okay.
and it's all region. So
Okay.
I mean, that one looks good, right? I've heard that one. That one actually looks really good.
That one looks pretty good. Yeah.
Stuart Gordon retrospective.
Stuart Gordon. It's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Since friggin' Masters of Horror, probably.
Castle Freak.
I love Castle Freak. A Dawn of the Dead. We've never done a Dawn of the Dead commentary.
That would be a good one. We should do the like the fucking European release or something like that. Just
The Argento cut.
Yeah, the Argento cut.
We left it up to the the factory.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
fans last year, and they picked the original.
Yep.
That's what happened.
I think they picked the original because Rambo said it was his least favorite. So
I guarantee he swayed that vote. He swayed that vote big time. He didn't even realize he did it. But as soon as he said he hated the movie, it was like it was on.
Yeah.
You got my vote.
But yeah,
I would definitely like to do it. Dawn. We should do Dawn and Day, honestly. I mean, we've done Night. Should have done all 3. We should do Land, I guess. And then after that, I'm out. Because fuck those movies.
I would definitely Dawn and Day for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely Dawn and Day for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it has its problems, I enjoy Land. I'm not going to say it's not flawed.
It came out. That's one of those movies I really should revisit.
He should have done it sooner, if possible. And the CG was really kind of bothersome to me, but the overall story didn't bother me. There was something there that could have been better than it was.
I need to watch
Henenlotter. Oh my god, Frank Henenlotter show. I don't know why that just got me.
Frank Henenlotter? Oh man,
that'd be cool.
I'm absolutely on board for that right now.
I
could do it starting right now.
We could do a let's see, what was
Frankenhooker.
Sorry, I was just gonna say Frankenhooker's the first one that pops in my
we
mind.
could do a Frankenhooker
Basket
live
case.
commentary. Yeah.
Frankenhooker. Oh my god, that takes me back. I haven't watched that. Like that's the Dead Pick guys turned me onto that. I haven't watched any of those movies in years. They used to always talk Franco.
That was on my list last year.
That's funny.
Franken and Lauder show.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. So
Yeah, I like a lot of his flicks too.
I even like
Still
some of
have
his
to
newer
do
stuff.
our Big John Candy retrospective. I mean, we were going to do that last year, but it was so huge, we just couldn't fit it in because there's a whole, a lot to talk about.
Lot to talk about with the John. We might have to even split that one up into 2 shows.
Yeah.
You have to start with the SCTV days and then work your way forward.
Oh hell yeah!
Right.
Jeez.
That'd be a
Second
tough
City
show.
days.
I could talk for an hour about who's Harry Crumb.
Summer vacation or summer rental.
Summer
Summer
rental.
rental, yeah.
Well, you had his supporting roles early, and then he had some starring roles. I mean, in all the films that he were, like Stripes and The Volunteers. I mean, even though The Volunteers isn't a great flick, I love Tom Tuttle from Tacoma, Washington. I mean, that's a great character.
But he did that and everything. He did Home Alone. He's in the movie for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And like you think about those scenes that he had, like he's so, I don't know, the guy was just such a presence.
Anybody remember? I don't know if anybody remembers. He was in Splash. He played Tom Hanks' brother. I mean, he was in so many things, just as a side character. And then he came out as his own. And man, he was great.
Yeah. We'll probably have to do an entire show just dedicated to the new Halloween when it comes out too.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give it a watch. I mean,
Let's see, when is the new Halloween coming out?
Friday, October 19th on my birthday.
Ah,
it's actually out in October. Well done. I thought that they would just, for some reason, I had a bad feeling they were just going to put it out in September.
maybe it'll be a good birthday gift for you, Mike.
I have to work, so I won't get to see it day of, but the next Wednesday after that, I'm going to definitely go see it. I will definitely check it out.
Is that complete? Like, is that a wrap?
Yeah, yep. It's
Okay.
it's a done deal.
So there was no, yeah, okay. It's good to hear.
I've got a Full Moon Films Charles Band retrospective,
Oh man, definitely.
How many movies did Charles Band do?
starting with Puppet Master and ending with Puppet Master 299. That's funny. It was zombie fun.
Oh my gosh, I'm just going through his IMDb here. It's just like pages and pages.
Yeah,
Holy shit, Witch House. I haven't heard that name in years.
he's prolific, man. We could do all the witch. I think there's at least
There's
three.
at least 3 Witch Houses that I can think of, but
Yeah, there's at least 3.
Trancers. The Trancers.
Oh gosh, Demonic Toys.
Subspecies.
The subspecies.
Subspecies, yeah.
Well,
So many,
wasn't Castle Freak a full moon movie too?
I believe so.
Yeah.
A lot of Stuart Gordon stuff
oh
was.
man,
around that
pretty
time.
stereotypical.
Well, we could do Charles Band, Full Moon, and Tim Thomerson all in one show.
Not one show. I'm going through this. Is fucking.
That'd be a 3-show.
Yeah.
Wasn't it
Or-
like
We literally spend all our time on Trancers, Ghoulies, and Troll.
Ginger Dead Man and the Evil Bong is what they're big about right now. They made
Demonic
like 2 of
Toys.
each of those, and they fought each other a bunch of times too.
Doll Man versus Demonic Toys.
Evil Bong versus Ginger Dead Man. 12.
Oh man. I mean, I don't hate Troma as much as a lot of people do. I like the original Toxic Avenger and some of their films. Can't remember all of them, but
Combat Shop.
some of the early ones are not bad. But Full Moon for me though, that was the goods.
Yeah, they had a great run. They had a great run.
I mean, once they got out of the 80s, though, it was really just so schlocky. Even when I was a kid, I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. If you look at
the 90s, the 90s turned against everything 80s, so it was really hard for them to find an audience. They couldn't just put out the same film that they would have put out in the 80s. So they're trying to find a new audience, but
They didn't change their formula, I don't think, though.
they just got goofy.
Yeah, I mean, like, last thing I saw was Poultrygeist.
Oh, Trauma. Yeah, Trauma.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was talking about Full Moon. I thought they made the transition better than Trauma did. Trauma was they're kind of like one joke, you know. It was just gross out humor, and that was all. Every movie has to be grosser than the previous film. And
Right.
the acting was horrible. The effects were laughable, but that was the charm at the beginning. But
like
then
Nukem High and stuff like that. I think that's okay.
Yeah, the early stuff I do enjoy, but then like you said, after you get into the 90s, it was horrible.
Well, in Full Moon, when like Paramount was producing and like releasing their stuff direct to video, I mean, that was their big heyday. Once they lost that deal with Paramount, it was like the quality of their stuff just absolutely tanked to like super cheap, super just
Because Full Moon almost became like a spiritual successor to or maybe even a competitor to Roger Corman's Factory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He was doing New World at that time.
Yeah, he was doing. So Charles Band basically was trying to be a version of Corman. He was competing. That was like his main competition, and we were the winners because we got a bunch of good shit out of it.
Well, see, a lot of that New World stuff from the 90s, I love, like the Unborn films, and just some really, I mean, it's really cheesy stuff too, but it's not what Trauma was trying to put out there.
And actually, I think the Asylum is pretty much ruling that aspect of filmmaking in modern times. I mean,
well, yeah,
you had Corman come up with all the knockoffs of Aliens and stuff. Well, that's bread and butter for the Asylum now. It's like whatever Battleship comes out, American battleships. I mean,
well,
Los Angeles, Battle of Los Angeles.
Yeah. Oh,
that's for people that are not informed well enough.
I have not checked out the final Sharknado yet. They had a big thing a couple weeks ago. I think it was the week of Sharknado.
It was on TV this week, I think. The final Sharknado movie.
I think I've seen the first three, and they're entertaining for what they are. It reminds me of the old days. I mean, Asylum is a hit or miss company with me. Some of their stuff is just so bad it's not watchable, and some of it is, this kind of reminds me of the good old days. Sharknado was one of those ones that reminded me of the good old days.
Sharknado was such a tongue-in-cheek. Like before that, they had like Transmorphers. Like it was just it was a copy. Like they were like, yeah, whatever. This is shit, but it's fun, and then like have fun with it, right?
Yeah, it's. I made the mistake of letting my wife pick a movie to watch on Hulu a few months ago. And the Asylum Company Presents came up, and I'm like, oh, fuck, shit, what are we in for now? And it was a pretty terrible movie.
The Da Vinci Treasure. Snakes on a Train. We're just going through these here.
Like they're ripping off snakes on a plane. Like, how well did that movie do?
Their Wikipedia is actually like the way they have it structured. It's like the name of the movie and then what they're ripping off. Like it's like King Kong, King of the Lost World, like snakes on a plane, snakes on a train, like when a stranger calls, when a killer calls. It's so specific. It's like that. You never see that, right? It's awesome.
And anybody worried that the Meg might be an Asylum-like production? It's not.
Yeah.
It's definitely much better.
Yes. Well, guys, why don't we wrap things up? We've been going for about 2.5 hours. I think we covered a lot of the summer bases, and we've gotten some good show ideas from the folks out there, and you guys keep throwing ideas out there. Post them in the comment section of the video once it archives. If you have any ideas for show topics or for movies that you'd like to see us do live commentaries for, please leave those. But all right. Well, thanks to everybody who tuned in tonight. Thanks to my panel here. Thanks to of course Cameron and Eric, who had to leave a little bit early. But and we will be back very soon with season 7 of The Sausage Factory. So you guys keep your eyes peeled. And
lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7. There you go. All right, guys. Have a great night. Take care, and we will see you again soon. Peace.
Thanks, guys.